about time that we have our own celebration.
You tolerate something that you don't like, but you embrace and you accept what you respect and what you love. And full acceptance is really where it's at.
I am thrilled to see so many people out here celebrating, but we have pride and we have purpose. And that purpose is to make sure that we have a more just society and that everybody in our city has opportunity to realize their dreams.
Over 1,000 people attended Valley Pride this year in Van Nuys, making it the largest in their 5-year history. Councilwoman Monica Rodriguez knows how to throw a pool party. We caught up with her at the Handsome Dam Aquatic Center as she kicks off her summer movie nights in the Northeast Valley. Anna Marcos is poolside with more.
What better place to watch a summertime movie than a giant swimming pool, one with a sandy beach and lots of water toys.
And then we heard about this event and I said, all right, let's go. Wrap up your blankets, get your stuffed animals, your pillows, and let's go.
Most of these movie fans have also brought their bathing suits. The kids and families are out for a watery good time as a full season of free movie nights kicks off at Hansen Dam Aquatic Center in Council District 7. Last year's opening night movie, Jaws, was such a huge success, they wanted to do it again.
When I had this wild idea to screen Jaws here at the pool while people kind of were floating in the water, it set off a few nerves, but we found a way to make it happen.
This year's opening night movie is Shark Tale, an animated comedy about fish and sharks starring Will Smith.
Hi!
But things are getting pretty fishy underwater even before the movie starts.
I think it's nice to be watching a movie while playing around in the water.
The movie night, swimming, having fun with our family.
Yeah, and friends.
We're gonna watch Shark Tale.
We're not a big fan of.
We're more fan of Jaws. You are. That's your opinion. I like Shark Tale. I think it's fun.
Yeah, I'm making a big sandcastle.
This may be the first free movie night of the season, but there will be 10 more of these movies all over the neighborhood all summer long. The last one will happen here again, and that'll be Aquaman. I think I'm going to come see that one.
I get to create an environment here where families can come together and create great memories.
And of course, it doesn't hurt to make a pitch with your youngest constituents to get more kids hooked on the summertime fun.
Okay, are you going to tell all your friends about movie nights in CD7?
Yes, it's good to put the word out on the street. The Shark Tale movie finally makes it onto the big screen, accompanied by free popcorn and, wait, is that s'mores in the making? Yes, a poolside bonfire with s'mores for everyone. Now that's the way to watch a movie.
This was just the kickoff. Future movies in the pool include Karate Kid, Black Panther, and Grease. Definitely my faves. To see the full list, check out monicarodriguez.org/movie nights. We check out the food trucks at Weston Wednesdays, get a taste of the islands with Caribbean Heritage Day, and Councilmember Koretz gives some traffic advice in Bel Air. All this in City Beat.
Some of LA's most delectable food trucks were gathered at Grand Park for Wesson Wednesdays, Juneteenth edition, presented by Council President Herb Wesson.
And only thing you guys got to do is just come out, support us, one by one day at a time as we get better every day.
Councilmember Paul Koretz, the LADWP and LAFD held a press conference to alert the public of a year-long project on Sunset Boulevard in the greater Bel Air area. The project will be a power upgrade to the existing DWP infrastructure that had been installed in the 1930s.
We've had great coordination among all the departments. Now we just ask for the public to pitch in and do what they can to avoid the area in the next year.
The third annual Caribbean Heritage Recognition Day celebration at LA City Hall brought live music, authentic cuisine, and fun for everyone.
We have performers, we have food, we have dancers. It's a way for Los Angeles to wrap our arms around our Caribbean immigrants and Caribbean members of our city.
I love this last story. It's called Angel City Games, and it's the premier adaptive sports festival on the West Coast. Check out these athletes from 3 to 72 years old that don't let anything get in their way from playing their favorite sports.
So today is day 2 of the 5th annual Angel City Games, which is now presented by the Hartford. And we're offering, over the course of these 4 days, 7 Paralympic sports, both clinics to learn and competitions. So it's important that events like Angel City Games happen, because if you are living with a physical disability, whether you were born different or you acquire that disability through injury or illness, you have shockingly little opportunities to participate in sports.
For able-bodied people, sports is not something that's difficult to find. They can go up to a basketball gym and play basketball. They can go to the track and compete. But for the physically disabled community and the adaptive community, it's really difficult to find sports. People are scattered around. Most of them don't even know that it exists. And many of them are confused and think the Paralympics is a Special Olympics, which it's not.
My eldest son, Ezra, was born with some physical differences. I was flying him all over the country to make sure he had access to sports, and we wanted to make sure those that didn't have the same ability to travel for sports, that we could bring it to them in Southern California.
It's important to support events like these because, again, it creates an environment which is inclusive of people with disabilities. You know, oftentimes we find a lot of recreations and activities happening that are not for people with disabilities, and this opportunity creates equity amongst the city programs, services that we're offering.
It's important that the city, and particularly recreation and parks, is we need to support kids of all abilities, and we want to grow our adaptive sports and fitness programs around the city. We want to reach kids who may not have the opportunity to come to a fantastic event like this, who may be in an area of the city that may not be aware of it. So we're also looking at helping bring more awareness to this event and bring more support to this event.
So that's our passion. What we're focused on is making sure everybody has the same opportunity to participate in sport and live a healthy, active life.
Because we all know the power of sports. What it does for you physically, psychologically, what it does for your soul. So to bring the community together, to have a fun event like this, there's nothing better.
Grand Park lights up for the 4th of July. Shimmy to some salsa at Union Station and scope out some ghostly locations in Boyle Heights. Check out these things to do.
Join Grand Park and the Music Center Performing Arts Center for the return of the Los Angeles 4th of July Block Party. LA County's largest free July 4th celebration will feature picnicking, music, dancing, and a stunning fireworks show high above downtown LA. The Los Angeles 4th of July Block Party lights up the night at Grand Park on Thursday the 4th from 3 p.m. through 9 p.m. For details, visit musiccenter.org/calendar. Metro Art presents Salsa Night at Union Station. Turn up the heat, put on your dancing shoes, and come along for a night of salsa under the stars, featuring live music by Son Mayor, Rumbanquete, and Cita Rason. Dance lessons by instructor Katie Hernandez will begin at 8 and 9:15. Salsa Night at Union Station drops on Friday, July 5th at 7:30 p.m. at Union Station, located at 800 North Alameda Street. To get more details, visit metro.net/art. Let Boyle Heights historian Barrio Boychik take you on a walking tour of the amazing ghost stories no one has dared to tell. Learn the fascinating history of one of the most diverse neighborhoods in Los Angeles, as well as how to understand the paranormal. You'll get an entertaining tour that will give you goosebumps, but empower you not to be afraid of the dark. The Boyle Heights Walking Ghost Tour is happening Saturday, July 6th from 6 to 9 p.m. For more information, check out their listing on Eventbrite. LA Department of Sanitation encourages North Hollywood residents to bring clean/used motor oil, new/used tires, paint, or e-waste to their mobile collections event. Take this opportunity to dispose of eco-unfriendly items like tires, computers, and monitors responsibly. The collection mobile will be at the North Hollywood Recreation Center Saturday, July 6th beginning at 9 a.m. For a full list of collectible e-waste items, look for their listing on Eventbrite. One of LA's favorite new dance nights is back. Echoplex is proud to bring you Dark 80s Night. As the name suggests, this is a night devoted to the best in dark sounds from the 1980s. Goth, post-punk, industrial, dark wave, synth-pop, and more. Expect to hear the sounds of Sisters of Mercy, Joy Division, and much more. It's all going down Sunday, July 7th at Dark 80s Night at Echoplex, located at 1154 Glendale Boulevard. For ticket information, visit parttimepunks.com. And that's a look at some things to do.
That's it for this edition. I'm Umayma Rashid. From all of us here at LA This Week, thanks for joining us. A reminder that you can catch us online at lacityview.org. We're also on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. See you next time for more LA This Week.
Hey, buddy! Don't you know you should never leave a cooking pan unattended? And a working smoke detector can warn you of a fire. Like the one behind me. My hero!
Next time, listen to the ball. Have a smoke detector and a fire extinguisher that work. How'd you know? The ball called.
Shake Alert LA is a mobile app that can give you up to a 60-second warning before a 5.0 or greater earthquake hits your location. When you receive an alert, it will look and sound like this. Once it's on your device, you can access more options such as prepare for an earthquake, earthquake alert map, view recent earthquakes, recover from an earthquake. The new Shake Alert LA app will help you stay connected with LA City services when you need them most.
Los indios dicen que el río está cerca. We enter a spacious valley, well grown with cottonwoods and alders, among which run a beautiful river. This plain where the river runs is very extensive.
Okay, if everyone could please take their seats. Shh. If everyone would please take their seats, I want to welcome you to City Hall, to your Los Angeles City Council. Today is Wednesday, July 3rd. Madam Clerk, we do have a quorum. Would you call the roll?
Blumenfield, Bonin, Buscaino, Cedillo, Heristason, Weiser, Koretz, Krikorian, Martinez, O'Farrell, Price, Rodriguez, Ruse, Smith, Wesson. 10 members present and a quorum, Mr. President.
Thank you. First order of business.
Approval of the minutes.
Krikorian moves and Koretz seconds. Next.
Commendatory resolutions for approval.
Blumenfield moves and Ruse seconds. That brings us where?
Mr. President, due to the upcoming council recess, would council like to send all items forthwith today?
I think that's the appropriate action. So, yes, we will do that going forward. Continue.
And, Mr. President, there are requests to continue items, item 4 to July 30th and item 26 to August 28th.
Okay, without objection, so ordered. Mr. Koretz.
Call items 6 and 7 special.
6 and 7 special, per Mr. Koretz. Continue.
Mr. President, items 1 through 3 are items noticed for public hearing, and these are regarding the establishment of business improvement districts. For all 3 of these items, the tabulated value of the opposing ballots cast does not exceed the tabulated value of the supporting ballots cast. For the record, 86.87% yes to 13.13% no for the Highland Park bid, 70.80% yes to 29.20% no for the historic Old Canoga Park bid, and 56.84% yes to 43.16% no for Greater Lamert Park Village Crenshaw Corridor bid. A majority protest does not exist for any of these bids, and the proposed establishment of these bids may be authorized at this time.
Okay, do you have cards?
Yes, there are cards on all 3 items.
Okay, then let's continue to the next section.
Items 5 through 20 are items for which public hearings have been held. For the record, on item 8, community impact statements have been submitted by the Atwater Village and the historic Highland Park neighborhood councils against that proposal.
Okay, so there are no speakers on the queue on these items. So
And
why don't...
Mr.
Yes.
President, for the record, Mr. Koretz had held items 6 and 7 on this
Okay,
section.
well, let's prepare to vote on the remaining items. Please open the roll. We're getting disruption. Whoever that is, would you please stop? I believe it's Mr. Previn. I'm not sure. So let's prepare to vote on these items. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
Let's move to the next section of items.
Items 21 through 85 are items for which public hearings have not been held. 10 votes are required for consideration.
Okay, so without objection, those items are now before this body. Mr. Smith? 49. Let's hold 49. Do you have cards on these items?
Yes, Mr. President, there are cards on all these items.
Okay, Mr. Krikorian?
Number 68 and number 80, please. Mr.
Let's
President.
hold those per Mr. Krikorian. Mr. Bonin?
32 for a technical correction.
Okay, 32. Any other? Mr. O'Farrell?
65 called special.
Yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Harris-Dawson?
7-5 special, please.
We'll hold 7-5. Okay, let's prepare to vote on the remaining items.
I believe all the items have been called special at this time.
Okay, so let's continue to the next section of items.
And Mr. President, that then takes council to the last item, item number 6, which is an item scheduled for closed session. Would you like to hold that on the desk?
I'm going to defer to Mr. Krikorian. Why don't we hold it and then Mr. Krikorian will advise on that item, okay? But we'll hold it for now. Thank you. Oh, Mr. Krikorian, are you ready?
Thank you, Mr. President. We will be submitting an amending motion on that item. That'll be circulated shortly.
Okay, so then we'll wait on that. That brings us where?
Mr. President, that then takes council back to presentations, items called special or general public comment.
Mr. Koretz, are you ready at this time, or do you need a few minutes? Okay, well, why don't I get the sergeants, if you would remove the... Okay, Mr. Corey Schmidt. Corey, I think we saw you yesterday. Is he here? Come forward. And you know, Mr. Schmidt, you signed up for some specific items. And just to remind you of those items that you can speak on would be item 44, 46, 50, 52, 53, 55, 56, 7, 61, 64, 66, 67, 73, 81, 83, 84, and 85A. And then your general public comment. So if you would just stick to those items, go ahead, sir.
Okay, so it looks like it got okay. All right, so let's try this. I don't ever look at you guys. All right, so for 44, in regards to strengthening tenant protections, I say yes. 46 in regards to dog meat, kind of weird. I didn't know that that was happening here. Number 50, earlier notices for rent increase, I totally agree with that. Jamming foreign zoning down our throats with number 52. So basically SB 592 prohibits local agencies from disapproving any form of land decision. So I'm totally against that. 53, in regards to military and veterans being added to the prohibition on discrimination, I'm totally for that. Number 55, refacing these streets, yes. 56 and 57 in regards to cleaning up the streets, yes as well. 61 on immigrants' rights. I think that we should be creating towns along the border to help these people that are migrating here. And if they're already here, I feel like they should have limited access to our services and protections. But I do think that monetarily, in terms of the budget, we should be refraining from bleeding to death as well. So just some things that we need to talk about. 64, in terms of extending the Bridge Home program, I'm for that. 66 and 67, in regards to supporting the homeless, in regards to youth and families, I'm also for that. 73 for funding for the El Grito celebration, I'm for that. 81 in regards to prohibiting private prisons in LA, I am for this, definitely. 83 in rescinding actions, kind of a bummer. 84 in regards to park projects, Koreatown, yes. And 85A is also yes. That concludes.
Okay, wait, now you have your general public comment, Mr. Smith. 1 minute.
Oh, it's okay.
You're good? Okay. I'd like to call up Raphael. Raphael, you have items 1, 2, and 3.
Public, no,
and your
yes.
general public comment.
Just public comment.
You just want your public comment? 1 minute.
Okay, there are too many of us humans, and we're making trillions of dollars from trillions of products, from trillions of animals and plants. Their number has plummeted by more than half. We kill hundreds of millions in one day for meat, wood, paper, etc. 1 trillion in 10 years. In 20 years, we'll kill all elephants, rhinos, etc. In 40 years, we'll kill most wild animals, fish, birds. In 60 years, beyond too many billions of us, we'll kill most farm animals, soil for growing food, forest, plus billions of tons of pollution, garbage, sewage, pesticides, mines, disease, global warming, climate change, sea level rise, flood, disasters, drought, an explosion of human population, invasion, destruction of habitats will kill most animals and plants. Soon, billions of humans will be eating each other.
Thank you, sir. Ms. McAllister, if I can call you up, items 3, 25, 34, 35, 44, 46, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, and 69. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President, and good morning. Let's start with item number 35, where you want the California law enforcement to not obey the federal laws of immigration. And as a matter of fact, you're requesting that they do not create an illegal alien database. Well, I'm a computer programmer, and I know what a database is. A database is a file with all the names and addresses and everything of these illegal aliens and the criminals. So you want California not to obey that. Well, I'm waiting on the troops to come in, because we're not going to sit back and let you Democrats overthrow this nation, this government. Now, I know you don't love illegal aliens. You don't love Americans because of what you're doing. So why are you so supportive of illegal aliens? Well, I know why. You're building your army. You're building your military. You're making the illegal aliens feel like it's us against them. Against them meaning the American people and the American government. But if you think you're going to overrun this government, you better think twice. Okay, let's go on and move on to the rights of illegal aliens and their illegal alien children. They have no rights. They have no business in this country. We want them out of here. If they don't have a toothpaste, did they have toothpaste in their country? Go back and get the toothpaste and the toothbrush from your own country. They're crying about that, crying about all kinds of crazy stuff. Stay out of this country. They're lucky they haven't gotten their heads blown off trying to get in here. Now here, city agencies stealing. Here you want the elderly to allow the city agencies to come into their homes because they can't take care of themselves. I know for a fact that these city agencies are stealing homes and valuables from the elderly. You can't wait to get into their homes. Some of these healthcare systems, HMOs, they're trying to get into your home. They call you up and say, can I come to your house? No, you can't come to their homes. They come there looking around, seeing what they can steal, trying to look for paperwork, life insurance policies, and all of that. I know what's going on. Housing discrimination, number 53. The housing discrimination is against Americans. Illegal aliens are living in HUD properties, Housing and Urban Development, and President Trump and our great Ben Carson, they're getting these illegal aliens out of HUD housing, and they should. Number 46, Asians selling dog meat. Asians should not be selling dog meat in the United States. If they want to eat dog meat, go back to their countries. Go back to Vietnam, China, South Korea, Cambodia, Indonesia. We should not allow that in our country. Tenants' protections, tenant increases in rent. There is proof that tenants who are living in subsidized housing, they're having their rents increased. The builders build, and then they bring in these tenants, low-income tenants, and they kick them out after a year and get the regular market rent. They come to the city does nothing. I talked to a man the other day. They're increasing his rent, and he's in a rent control apartment. He's coming to the city ignores him. Now, I have much more, but I can't get to all of it because we don't get much time.
But let's give you your 1 minute for general.
I've been approached asking to be a lobbyist. People like the way I present. They want me to present myself and to lobby the council members. I'm thinking about doing that. I did that in Chicago. I was a lobbyist in Chicago. So now, reparations. My grandfather and all of my ancestors were slaves in this country for over 400 years. They were raped, robbed, worked to death, sun up, sundown, not paid a dime. And then we went into the Jim Crow laws. I want reparations for my people. That's something we should be putting on the agenda, Mr. President. You are African American, I believe, a descendant of slaves, just like I am. We want that on the agenda. Again, we're trying to get the mayor out of office. He's done nothing. These people laying on the street is because of the mayor. And a lot of these agenda items that you're passing here, you send it right to the mayor's office, and he's got a Latino signing these different propositions here. So thank you very much. Enjoy your holiday, Mr. President.
You too. Thank you. All right. Do we have a Ms. Fuentes? Ms. Fuentes? Mr. Sachs, or is Mr. Arnold Sachs still around? Mr. Sachs. Mr. Sachs, you have 1, 3, 23, 27, 31, 34, 39, 44, 48, 52, 54, 58, 60, 65, 69, 71, 74, 75, 79, 80, and 85.
Yes, I do. Thank you very much. For the record, Arnold Ross Sachs. And the reason I held so many items was to show you how ridiculous it is. You have 80 items on your agenda. We have 3 minutes to speak. But it's Herbie's house. Herbie, you ought to do a little bit better housekeeping. But I really wanted to speak about item number 3. It's about establishing business improvement districts. But the part that really caught my eye was that the ordinance establishing those business improvement districts was passed on 5/14/19. That'd be May 14, 2019. So if you have an ordinance in place, then there's no voting allowed because the ordinance is in place, right? That's the law, isn't it, Miss City Attorney? If an ordinance is in place, you don't vote after the ordinance is in place, except the second reading of the ordinance, right? So what the hell's going on? Who knows? Another event in Herbie's house. And then I wanted to talk about the 79 has to do with the port adoption. The State Lands Commission is going to allow for automation at the ports. Now, didn't you just have the port workers in here, the union workers, telling them that you weren't going to do anything about automating at the port? You're going to save all those jobs. You're going to do all this bullshit. You didn't tell them about the State Lands Commission, no. I'll bet nobody knows about that. But I'll bet the state representatives who sit around this horseshoe knew. Say that 3 times fast. Item 74 refers to the pickle works. Is that any relationship to the ratepayer advocate? Because that pickle doesn't work. This pickle does work. Who knows? Item 71 refers to some contracts you approved for legalized work. Oh, there's an oxymoron. But the contracts are dated back to May 16, 2016. So you started the contracts in May 2016. They're going to expire in 2021. So your 5-year contracts are almost over with, and you're voting on them today before you go on recess? That's mighty big of you. Huge event for the city council. Do you do that? There was a request for a proposal on these contracts? Is this a pre-approved list? Or is this the city council just working like it always does? Herbie, your house, speak up. You're not saying nothing. I held 75, but Mr. Harris Dawson held that too, but that's about the special events. Are these the free special events like at Dodger Stadium to provide police protection and the stadium protection and the Staples Center protection and all the other events that you have without the city, like the Ciclavia that provide all the services are free to the city? Do the city council districts pay for that? No. The public pays for that. Another fine job of acting by the city council, and I mean acting. Now my public comment. So I like to collect news articles, and this one is from the New York Times from June 13, 2019. It states, police abuse kept from the public. It's an editorial. It shows a picture of some people. It states, protesters outside New York City's police headquarters during the disciplinary trial of Officer Daniel Pantaleo. Okay? You can look at it in New York Times, 2016, June 13. Down here at the bottom it says, there's still time for New York legislators to repeal the law that keeps police records secret. So the people are demonstrating outside the police commission, but the state has a law that keeps police records secret. That's almost like no, wait, that is like California. You'd think people would know that. You'd think these people who are demonstrating would know that and say, hey, state legislators, we need to change the law.
Thank you, Mr. Sachs. Thank you. Thank you. All right, Mr. Corrett, Mr. Sachs, please don't disturb. Mr. Corrett, are you ready to proceed with your presentation? Then the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. President, and good morning, colleagues. I'm proud to stand here again in honor and recognition of our very own Los Angeles-based International Criminal Court Alliance. This organization advocates for U.S. participation in the International Criminal Court. They've been putting on programs like this for the better part of 2 decades. And in fact, when our own mayor, Eric Garcetti, was teaching at Occidental College, he worked with them, including sponsoring a program to bring a former Nuremberg prosecutor to Occidental. When he became a council member, he sponsored this resolution, and we've been keeping it going since then. This year, we mark the 21st anniversary of the Rome Statute of the International Criminal Court. On July 17, 1998, the treaty established the first permanent treaty-based international tribunal to investigate, prosecute, and try individuals accused of committing the most serious of crimes of concern to the international community as a whole, namely the crimes of genocide, crimes against humanity, war crimes, and the crime of aggression. We hardly think of international justice on a city level, but attaining that level of peace truly comes down to the individual, the advocate. That's what makes our government institutions efficient and energetic. Truly representative democracy relies on the institutions like the International Criminal Court Alliance to educate not only our government, but the citizens we serve to represent.
Hold for 1 second, Mr. Kretz. Everybody, please. Shh. Back to you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Despite the mantra after World War II of never again, genocide, war crimes, and crimes against humanity continue to this date in many parts of the world. It is without a doubt that the ICC work is an important means through which holding individuals accountable moves closer to the goal of never again. With 11 investigations, 25 cases, 9 convictions, 1 acquittal, reparation orders, 4 ongoing trials, and some 14,000 victims having participated in the proceedings, we can see clearly the importance of the court's mandate and achievements. As the city of Los Angeles is home to a great number of people who have escaped genocides, countries ravaged by crime, and now live in a country with the rule of law, accountability, and justice, we have the ability to increase positive cooperation with the ICC in order to bring the same standard of accountability to the international stage. U.S. cooperation with the ICC might have prevented thousands of forced migrations and involuntary displacements. So if not to our country, to our constituents, we have an obligation to remedy those heinous crimes. It's high time we help end our long past of limited American participation and contribute to the makings of peace, rather than simply observe it on the sidelines. It's high time we quit being a bystander and build sustainable peace in our often tumultuous international community. And the first step in doing so is by recognizing and invigorating this organization at the city level. Therefore, we resolve today to formally express our wholehearted support for the International Criminal Court and proclaim July 17, 2019 to be World Day for International Justice. We thank you for making our great city a center for international advocacy, and thank you for all you do to improve not just this city, but the world. And now I'd like to ask Sean Butler.
Give him a round of applause, please. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. And now I'd like to introduce Sean Butler, co-chair of the International Criminal Court Alliance.
Thank you, Councilman Corrett. Thank you, all of you. I am here today with my co-chair, Shireen Arshadi, Kathy Emanuel, and Jim Stanberry, who are all members. I want you to understand how important your support is, each one of you, to show support for the International Criminal Court. The International Criminal Court is meant to try atrocity crimes, the worst crimes that can happen, but only when there are national courts that are not willing or able to actually investigate or prosecute. The U.S., through John Bolton, is attacking the International Criminal Court based on a false premise, a misunderstanding of the treaty, and a claim that U.S. servicemen might be subject to prosecution before the court. The treaty provides that if a national court will investigate and prosecute, then a case is not admissible, can't be presented to the International Criminal Court. We have a very effective military justice system. The U.S. is attacking the court, and that's why each one of you showing your support for the court is so important. This last year, the president of the court came to visit at UCLA, was there for a talk, and we were able to assure him that the people of Los Angeles support the ICC, and that each year City Council has given us that support, and we were able to reassure him, despite what's going on with the administration, the people of America support this court, and we thank you so much. We are very grateful for the support you've shown for so many years. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And now it's my honor to be able to present a certificate declaring World Day for International Justice to this critical organization.
Okay. Thank you.
One more round of applause.
Thank you, colleagues.
Thank you. Well deserved. Okay, now we're going to go back to our multi-comment. I'd like to request that Mr. Previn come forward. Items 1 through 3, 22, 24, 29, 33, 34, 37, 39, 42, 49, 51, 53, 55, 59, 65, 68, 71, 73, 75, 77, 82, 83, and 84. Mr. Previn, the floor is yours. Give him his 3 minutes, madam.
Thank you, sir. That's a little exhausting. I just wanted to say too many items on one agenda for ordinary folks to participate, but we're going to go for it anyway. I'd like to call out your generosity, sir, because there's nobody more generous than you when it comes to the Korean American National Museum, where for $1 a year you gave them a nice parking lot in Koreatown. Now, here's the thing. In Koreatown, parking has become something of a meme of people pushed up against each other, desperately looking for a space. Your idea was, let's give it to the Korean American National Museum with the idea that they're going to put some affordable housing in, because at the time we were concerned about that. So the affordable housing, on June 12th, up in Smith's office, where he would not take any public comment, like a strong-arm jerk, that's the official term. What happened was, it was basically lose the affordable housing. They're not going to do it, too expensive. So today, we got some CIEP money. We love that stuff. And this is money where last night it was $2 million going to flood into the museum, that you love these guys, and these guys are terrific. Everybody's terrific. But the problem is it jumped up to 3.3. So it's just getting bigger and bigger, sir. And I know the last thing you need while you're running for SD2 is the allegations that you're pushing stuff out the door to all these groups. So that's why I call it out, to make sure that people know that that's exactly what you're doing and how inappropriate that is, sir. And I just want to give, because I don't want to spend too much time on you, you got a lot of stuff on your plate, but Mike Bonin, these preferential parking districts, these oversized vehicle thing, it is an exact contravention of all the BS that was emitted the other day about how we have to do no harm. We're doing a lot of harm by making it impossible for folks on the public roadway, just so you know, sir. Now, someone just explained to me that you got a couple of Lanterman Petrus things on here that are worthy of scrutiny. The one that is of concern is this conservatorship thing and about taking people's property. There's also a transportation district-like thing where Mr. Curran Price can be the one carving up the little... Now, people are very, very worried about that, item number 8, and understandably, sir. Now, small donations are terrific. $48, I heard just Trump had raised like hundreds of millions of dollars at that very low multiple. Yesterday, under Bonin and what's-his-name's leadership, hashtag finked out, Paul Koretz, who would repeatedly refused, along with David Rue, to even talk about why this program is so outrageous, the matching fund program for the Ethics Commission. You jammed it through, and all the little acolytes who are embracing these guys for the upscale fundraising districts. It's Koretz, richest district. Bonin, second richest district. Weezar, third richest district. What about the regular folk down with me and Krikorian? in CD2, where we're at the bottom of the list. We can't get people to give money. We have to take a little tour through Bonin's district, which is what they do. Not good, sir. Not good at all. And then yesterday, now today, item 75, you've got about, I would say I tweeted it the other day, a list of events that you're just smearing money out the door, up to $2 million. That's on top of the $750,000 yesterday. But at the last minute, you couldn't resist when you nixed the one of the two Taste of Soul 80,000 cover-up is worse than the crime. You added 30,000.
Let's give him his 1 minute. Go ahead, sir.
Right. So I tried to save that for last so I could make it clear that I support events, but I don't support, in light of the campaign finance situation down here, where you guys run this like, look at this, sir. This is like a velvet rope. See, this is a little velvet rope. When you do that, you create the feeling that only the lobbyists, like Michael Bai, your former chief of staff, are allowed in there to talk about all the great opportunities to work together, whereas regular members of the public, I have to say, are given a stack of agenda items that it's impossible to speak about, Coach. It's just not fair. And sir, you deserve better because you are a leader, and you should know that Rule 93 says that everybody in this hall appears the same. But look at the guy who's speaking. He's a tiny little gnat. Now, these gnats don't go away, sir. Ask Mark Ridley Thomas. He's got a whole speech about fleas he made at USC just before they frog-marched him out, practically, for giving his own son. We need ethics, sir. Can we find somebody around here other than Krikorian who's in a conference with Anna? Is there anybody who can hold the line on the ethics? Or no, we're just going to go forward and drive it on through? Well, then good.
Thank you, Mr. Previn. Thank you, sir. Now I want to call Mr. Herman. Mr. Herman, you have items 1 through 3. You have 1 through 3, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 27, 27 through 38. Then you have 39, 40, 41, 42, all the way to Mr. Herman, 50, 60, and then you have 61 through 60 through 71, 72, 3, 4, 5, 78, 79, 80 through 85C. So the floor is yours.
Yeah. The nigger knows how to count. So do I. Because on item number 51, based on O'Connor versus Donaldson, 422 U.S. 563, 1975, a serious mental illness. State legislative program was advised by Sheila Cunt-Q and those board members that individuals with disabilities should not proceed in an area of the public. That was kind of serious shit back then. But the court ruled that a state cannot constitutionally confine a non-dangerous asshole like me. Let me be serious. A non-dangerous individual. So fuck you and fuck your rules, Huizar and Rue and Busquiano on item 51, you white nigger politician crook. And then I go to item 2, back in Canoga Park, where all the white Jews live like Bob Bloomfield. And I kept trying to ask him, I can't understand niggas this shit. Because Bob Bloomfield's wife is black like me, we don't understand this shit. That's why I have to use the acronym for cunts. Then I went into Lamont Park. Lamont Park Village is where Aaron Lewis, Aaronlewis, lives. But some of you don't know who Aaron Lewis is, neither do I. But we're trying to improve the corridor business improvement district because Lamont Park was considered to the California Constitution for a tabulation of ballots. And they were in support of that cocksucker, well, I shouldn't say cocksucker, pussy mayor Eric Garcetti. Because I like pussy and Mr.
Stay on topic.
Well, I'm trying to improve the district to adopt the accompanying orders of May 28th. So apparently, you know what I'm talking about when I say pussy. So, back on 2205 North Broadway, Mr. Cedillo, I have to thank you because you said we will not tend to create a law enforcement problem with alcohol. And for that reason, many people in Jose Weezer's drunk district have issues with alcoholism and opioid drugs. Thank you, Mr. Cedillo, for doing a good job, but take this back to LASA.
Fuck LASA!
Give him his 1 minute for General.
Now you know why I'm here. I'm here for constitutional betterment. To bury the white nigger politicians in their beliefs and their opposition to Donald Trump. I support Donald Trump because Donald's support represents borders and he represents ICE. Because you jackass Democrats don't want to sit down and give us the rules to keep America safe. Just like I said, wetbacks who come from Zacatecas believe they can steal and criminalize anywhere as long as the FBI don't catch you. But some dickhead from CD14 got caught. And then another dickhead with a short-tempered, contemptuous motherfucker in CD10 hired an attorney, Aaron Lewis. So fuck you, Herman Jason Weston, and fuck your attorney, loser.
Thank you. If I could now get Mr. Spindler, Mr. Wayne Spindler, you have items 1 through 3, 21 through 25, and 27 through 85. Mr. Spindler, please come forward.
Thank you. Council member number 46. You must recuse David Rule because he eat dog meat like I eat dog meat. You discriminatory nigger, how come you do not allow people to have dog meat? Everybody love dog meat. Nigger like pork, I like dog meat. Nori like chicken. All are animal. Everybody eat animal. I eat woo woo, and David Rule eat woo woo.
Mr. President, I don't think Mr. Spindler is speaking to any of the agenda items.
Mr. Spindler, stay on topic.
No to number 46. I support Honorable Greg Smith to vacate 46, send back to committee for further eating. I will cook dog meat. I prove to you how delicious it is and nutrition. Now we get to other shit. Now we get to our museum. Finally, at long last, we will get Korean museum for $1. All of the Korean people give Habwas and nigger all money for last 12 years. I give money for nigger. He give money for nigger. Everybody give money for nigger. But we never get our Korean museum until today. Finally, you will be able to go to museum. But when? According to Eric Pravin and according to other Jews, you will not do till 2024. You backstab bastard. So, if you support my museum, call 1-424-332-4754 to call and get Herb Watson to build Korean museum now, this year. This is number 2 very important ambassador, Aaron Lewis, who can go and tell crazy nigga what to do.
You know you need to be on topic.
That's
and
right.
You're not. Last warning.
This is why I talked to 82 nigga. That's why, 82, museum. Now we get to important thing. Item 1, CD1, support. Item 2, CD3, fuck you. Item 3, fuck you. Item 5, we do not sign up. Item 7, fuck you. Item 8, fuck you. Item 9, fuck that. Now we get to other item in middle of agenda. Look at all this shit on board. Now, finally, I will try to read. 47, fuck, 48, 49, fuck, 51, fuck, 53, 54, fuck, 56, 58,
Okay, let's give him his 1 minute for general public comment.
So, as you see, the mockery of this meeting ran by the train wreck Herb Wesson. But now we have good news. He has been cooperating with the FBI. Let's give him a hand. Yes, sir, finally. That's right. Yes, including his son, his daughter-in-law, Alexis. And that's why Nuri needs to pay attention when she's in her office and people start taking hard drives home and they start taking laptops start missing and CDs start missing. You gotta watch the snitches because they going around. It's a snitch fest in here. Ooh, ooh, everybody's a juju best snitch. Everybody's snitching like rats. That's right. But the only person you can trust is Greg Smith because Greg Smith's getting $1 million and going to China. Thank you, Greg Smith.
Thank you. Your time's expired. Mr. Spindler, please sit down. You're disrupting this meeting. No, you're going to be called. I think that's Mr. Bazzuti. Can we have him, Mr. Bazzuti, please be quiet. All right. That's not. Now let's go to Mike Greenspan, 22, 23, 25, 27, 28, 30, and general public comment.
Is the mic on? Okay. Mike Greenspan, and still celebrating the victory of no on EE. Boy, we kicked their butt.
Stay on topic.
Okay. Now, let me look at item 4. Oh, yes, here's my favorite.
Sergeant, hold on 1 second. Stop. Sergeants, would you have Mr. Spindler quit jumping up and down? He's disturbing other people in the council. Do not do it again. If he does, he'll be removed.
Hey,
go on, Mr. Greenspan.
My time's been ticking. My time was ticking. Well, thank you. Do I get it back or no? Okay, preacher pushing liquor. What else can I say? Mr. Booze, Booze. And I could say a lot about Herb Wesson as the preacher pushing liquor. Of course, one thing I do want to note, Anheuser-Busch is unionized, and our preacher pushing liquor, Herb Wesson's a scab preacher.
You're not on topic. Give him his 1 minute for general public comment.
I was speaking on alcohol.
Go ahead.
Well, boy, you sure have a great way to treat people. Still enjoying the victory of Measure EE. After all, the good people won. The gadflies won. You guys lost. Hey, go out on strike, you dumb fucking teacher union goons. Cost us $250 million and think we're going to pay for it with a tax, which is best revenue neutral. Now, Herb's just in a bad mood today, and I guess I owe Herb and the council and everybody else just a debt of gratitude for the way they've been acting. And I don't know what better way to do it but to remember the court case of City of Los Angeles versus Armando Herman. Great court case. Judge backs me up on this. I just want to let you folks know what I think of you. Get fucked!
Okay, George. Where's George? Is he here? Bazzuti, George? George? Going once, twice, thrice. Okay, no George. Okay, in fact, I'm told we can take a couple of votes at this point. Let's vote on items 1 through 3. Open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
We can vote on 21, 22, 24, and 25. Let's open the roll, close the roll. In fact, let's scratch that. Let's go 21, 22, and 24. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
Do we have a Miss Susan Hunter? Miss Susan Hunter, come forward. You have item 52 and 1 minute of general public comment. So if you can give her a minute now and she'll get a minute after. Yes, ma'am.
Susan Hunter, Housing is a Human Right. I'm obviously very concerned about 52 because it is a gut and amend bill from Scott Wiener to try and change our zoning and how we want to plan our city. It's concerning because if Scott Wiener actually cared about what people thought in the cities that he was impacting, he might actually take the time to craft legislation actually listening to them. But instead, he just wants to ramrod his opinion through. Unfortunately, we see this happen all the time. It's concerning when it would override things that we're trying to do, like Councilmember Ryu's motion to be able to allow people to return to housing after demolition. I don't know why that's not on the agenda today. It should be on the agenda today. We should be able to have those kinds of conversations about how we want our city to operate so we can do something about the 30,000 people that are displaced on our streets right now because of our current policies that we need to change. We don't need the state to try and change our policies to make things worse. We need to address what we need to do now to make things better. Can I have my 1 minute?
Thank you. Now let's give her 1 minute.
And back on my general public comment, again, I don't understand why Councilmember Ryu's motion was not on agenda today because we need to get it before the Housing Committee as soon as possible. We've got to start addressing the abuse of Ellis Act by corporate landlords who have no intentions of moving into the property. We have to start addressing the land speculation that has caused the 30,000 people that we have currently sleeping on our streets. And we've got to start coming up with some new ways of pushing back on the displacement of people who are losing their rent-controlled housing and forced into options of having to pay 2, 3, 4, or 5 times what they can afford into market rate rentals units that they can't afford to live in. So where are they forced to go but on the streets? I hear this every day from people. We can actually come up with creative solutions like allowing people to return to a new unit in a new building after construction. We can create a right of return after full demolition. We just simply choose not to. Ryu has brought this motion. It should have been on there today. We should have been pressing for this today. We need to do something now, not after vacation's over. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Okay, I would like to call up on item 23, Lisa Saboro, and also general public comment. Come forward. Yes.
Good morning. My name is Lisa Sawadillo. I attended the BCC hearings last week at the Biltmore, and 2 things came to mind which I wanted to share with the city, which is, this is tangentially related to item 23, which is public convenience and necessity determinations. The retailers are already pushing to be able to sell non-cannabis goods as well as cannabis goods. And I would just like to say I have found relief in herbal medicine that is non-cannabis. I have to drive over half an hour to a family-owned health food store, downtown Chinatown, and a North Hollywood Wiccan store to get my herbs. It would be wonderful if one of these, I live in the Sherman Oaks Van Nuys border, there's a plethora of cannabis dispensaries, so it would be wonderful if one of these dispensaries cared to be a full-service herbal medicine dispensary. I would encourage that. So in terms of public convenience, that would be what I...
Okay, let me give you your 1 minute and then I'll recognize Mr. Blumenfield. Go ahead.
Okay. Also, I'm an attorney who represented children in dependency court in 2007. And this year was important because this was the first year per a California Supreme Court decision that children could not be detained from their parents solely based on drug use. At that point, over 90% of county council was prosecuting dependency cases. Over 40% of the youth were Latinx, and over 30% were African American. Also at that time, I know for a fact that there was a USC group studying youth in dependency court. So I would encourage, and I know there's laws regarding confidentiality of dependency court records. However, if the office of the presiding judge was open to that study, potentially they would be open to the city gathering statistics regarding cannabis use detentions from their records, DCFS, county council, and public health.
Thank you so much. Okay.
I've also brought...
No, that's your time. Thank you so very much.
Well, okay.
Let's prepare to vote. We're voting on 23. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
And I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, Madam Clerk, that at this point we can vote on item 25, 27 through 31, and 38 through 48. 33 through 48, I'm sorry. So that's item 25, 27 through 31, 33 through 38. So please open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
Now if we could vote on items 50 through 64 and items 66 and 67. Please open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
Do we have a Mr. Rippenkling? Last name T? I don't see him, so let's move forward, eliminate him from the queue. Teresa Flanagan, please come forward. April Papali. Joanna Aquileta. Yes, identify yourself. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, good morning. My name is Teresa Flanagan.
Could you pull the microphone down? Yes.
Good morning. My name is Teresa Flanagan. We live in an unpredicted age in human history. Never before has there been such a defeat between those who have and those who do not. Everywhere we look in Los Angeles, we see the heartbreaking realities of addiction and poverty. If you knew you could play a significant role in reducing poverty, would you? Well, luckily you can. There is a vote taking place all over the state of California concerning the 2,500-foot oil and gas well setback. When you participate in that vote, remember the men and women are able to provide for their families due to the jobs that are threatened if you vote yes. So do the right thing, vote no on the 2,500-foot oil and gas setback.
Next speaker, please identify yourself.
Good morning. My name is Joanna Aguilera. I'm here to remind you that California has been the zenith of progressive social policy for a very long time. In the 1960s, leaders like Cesar Chavez recognized the need to speak up for those who were disfranchised. And because of his bold approach to social justice, he became a hero. Today, those who arguably need a voice are the homeless. Camp dominate the downtown LA landscape. Tent cities are the new phenomenon that pledge our generation, and it's time to do something about it. Remember your part to play in this social drama when you vote before you, such as the 2,500-foot oil and gas well setback. Remember, conditions are in this economy and the impact of these decisions. Vote no on the 2,500-foot bat setback. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please identify yourself.
Hi, my name is April Papili. Greetings. And I'm here today on behalf of the future of our great city. There is a future Los Angeles where the streets are free from bondage and death. There's a tomorrow on 5th Street between San Pedro and San Julian, where children are seen walking hand in hand with their parents, marveling at the beauty of downtown Los Angeles and the skyline with all its splendor. There's a future in LA where we do justly, we love mercy, and we walk humbly with God. We protect jobs rather than dispose of them, and we are united in our coordinated transition towards renewable energy. There's a future in LA where we think about family, sustaining jobs as worth defending rather than disposing of. Remember the LA of tomorrow, when you have the opportunity to defend over 100,000 jobs in LA. Thank you.
Thank you. If I could get Mickey Jackson, Kirsten Munson, Tom Pike, General Jeff, Dr. Rothschild, please come forward. Identify yourselves. Please come forward. Lynette Green. Ms. Jackson, the floor is yours.
Mickey Jackson, Housing is a Human Right. I wanted to talk on a couple of things. I want you to urge you to take up AB 330, bill by Scott Wiener. It is SB 50 under a different disguise, and it is a very bad bill. And I know you opposed SB 50. I'm wondering what has happened with the anti-harassment motion that was put forward. That looked like a good thing, and we're still waiting to hear back on it. And I do oppose the EIFD. We were given an opportunity to speak. I know why, but it's going to be a bad thing. It's going to cause a lot of trouble, and I think it's a shame that you voted for it. And I must say, I too often feel like a second-class citizen since I'm not let through the red ropes. I don't expect to be at nightclubs because I'm too old, but at city council.
Next speaker, please. And I'm looking for General Jeff, Jenny C., Yolanda Tompkins. Yes, identify yourself, please.
My name is Tom Pike. I'm here as a representative of the Los Feliz Neighborhood Council. I will read you a community impact statement regarding Agenda Item 7. Whereas the UN's IPCC report, which aggregated more than 8,000 climate studies, gives the world one year to reach a peak in carbon emissions and 12 years to have them. Whereas the IPCC report states that consequences of failure are apocalyptic. Whereas the IPCC report is actually too optimistic, failing to take into account certain feedback loops. And whereas the fires that destroyed hundreds of homes and killed dozens of people this year in California are previews of what the next decade will look like. And whereas our current commitment is 100% carbon-free energy by 2050, by which time the damage will be irreversible, the Los Feliz Neighborhood Council urges Los Angeles to recognize that we are out of time, climate disruption is here, and encourage a vote yes to declare climate emergency today. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Kirsten. I am coming from Hollywood, and I just spent 10 years working at Tesla. And I'm here to talk about what's possible. I have seen the hope in our people that enter the stores. I have seen how people can be inspired by the actions of when we come together and talk about how we can solve climate change. I'm here to ask you to take any and all actions for your health. We're sitting in this beautiful room right now. The air quality outside yesterday was at 60, AQI 60. In Jakarta, they are suing their government for air quality index of 220, and we will get there, and you all in this room have the power to make sure it doesn't happen. What happens if we don't take these actions? We can't. I'll tell you right now, following fear is terrible. We need some inspiration, and right now there's an amazing opportunity to bring our communities and let them inspire us with what they want to see in their future.
Hi.
Yes, identify yourself.
My name is Dr. Mello Desire. And speaking on behalf of LASA, we have clients that are looking for housing that were referred to LASA. And 3804 South Broadway is the only shelter that they refer to. And our client Salim Bahani was robbed yesterday. And this is why we don't want VOA on 38th and Broadway to be the sole referral that LASA has. Now that you have Peter Linz on vacation for a month, he's the director of LASA. He's on vacation for a month. You don't have anybody that's taken over his place. And when you have people at LASA that are not even giving referrals properly and are not giving food to the people, and you're getting joint powers from federal, county, and state funding going to LASA, there's an issue. So please, let's start building temporary housing if permanent housing is too long a wait, so any more of my clients does not receive abuse from the hands of VOA staff.
Yes.
Hi, my name is Jenny. I actually went to LASA yesterday, and I've been homeless since 2014. I lost my one bedroom apartment due to eviction because I got my husband, he just left me. And I was sleeping in the car for over 2 years. And they asked me if I'm a citizen or not at LASA, and I said, yes, I am, and I was turned down. So I was really confused. Am I turned down because I'm citizen, or should I have been like non-citizen to get help? And I feel like regardless like what's going on in the immigration, I feel like being as a citizen, I don't get the help that I deserve. And I heard the same thing from the lady. I was with her actually downstairs. Like they're considered joint powers, but they don't even have hot food. And speaking of snacks, they just have only bars. And then supposedly all they do is referrals, but I heard previous clients, they actually been getting help from there.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, did Ms. Tompkins speak? Okay. So that closes multi and general public comment.
I'm sorry, you didn't call my...
I'm informed we need to reconsider. Oh, wait, we didn't get Miss. No, you're right. Miss Ramirez, did you fill out a card? I really don't see your name. Okay, we're not on special one yet, so that's why your name hasn't been called. The card you submitted was for special one. No, we're not going to go back and forth. You may want to go back to the kiosk and put a card in. Miss Ramirez, you've been here long enough to know how we do things. Okay, we're going to do reconsideration, Madam Clerk, on items 33 through 35. If we could please open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
Okay, I want Hunter Kyle or Kale, Romero, Susana, please come forward, and each of you get 1 minute.
Hi, thank you. I'm here to speak on approval of the District 201 Peripheral Parking District. I live in Gordon Street, and Susie and I basically collected over 80% of the signatures in our neighborhood for the approval of the expansion of our parking district. A lot of the buildings in our neighborhood were built in the 20s, so they didn't come with parking. And every night we have to drive around for 30 to 45 minutes just to try to find a parking spot, which is crazy. And because the Hollywood Forever Cemetery always has their movies going on, there's all these people that are taking up our parking, and we just really are seeking approval for this. We have the approval of our council member on this as well. And if it does get approved, which I hope it does, we also want to make sure that both sides of the street will get the posting. We live on Gordon, right next to the Sunset Gower studio. And Dan Halden basically talked to the studio, who represents our council member, Mitchell Farrell, and they signed off and approved on posting on their
Yes, if I could get the next speaker, thank you.
Side of the street
Yes,
as well. Thank you.
Next speaker.
Okay. Hi, good morning, everybody. My name is Susana Romero. I can say same problems like front of my person say. We can finding parking lot, this area, many construction building built, and many times have a Gower studio factory doing movie films, and have to close all the street, all the area. We can parking all the time, anytime, every day, every night. We fighting over there. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, let's prepare to vote. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
13 eyes.
We're going to go to item 34. If I could have MQ, Mariana Magana, Alexandra Morales, Antonia Ramirez. Please come forward when I called your name.
Good morning, council members. Just here on behalf of TRILA, the Coalition for Humane Immigrant Rights, just wanting to thank Councilwoman Martinez for bringing up the resolution today in support of AB 1753. We are sponsors of this bill along with Garesen, the county, and other organizations as well. And this bill does come at a crucial time where our immigrant community is under constant attack by the federal administration. So it is crucial, right, that they are protected from fraudulent and immigration consultants as we have known them for a while. So thank you once again for your support, and thank you for voting on this resolution.
Identify yourself, please.
Good morning, Council. My name is Alexandra Morales, and I'm the Policy Manager for Garesen Los Angeles. I'm here to thank you on behalf of our community programs, such as our youth, our TPS committees, and our parent council. Thank you for supporting AB 1753, which will create another layer of accountability to ensure that our immigrant communities are protected. I do want to read to you some of the organizations that are supporting this legislation. In support, of course, is CHIRLA, Garesen, Public Law Center, Promesa Boyle Heights, California Rural Legal Assistance Foundation, Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office, Act for Women and Girls, American Academy of Pediatricians, ACLU, Asian American Advancing Justice, BETSEDEC, Centro La Familia Advocacy, Education and Leadership Foundation, Equal Rights Advocacy, and many more. I do want to ensure that you're voting in the right direction to continue to protect our immigrant families. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, let's prepare to vote. Oh, Ms. Ramirez, you weren't in line. Go ahead.
Thank you. Fuck the elitist, satanic, corrupted, evil, satanic, Jewish, political, pandering, un-American, unpatriotic, hypocritical pigs, pussies, and thieves, and the non-Zionist, satanic, Jewish, Masonic assholes who have stolen our homes, our property, and our lives to subsidize the fucking wetbacks, the fucking gangbangers, and the fucking beaners and dreamers. So kill these bloody bastards, and they are George Soros and the Illuminati and their puppets, Eric Garcetti, City Attorney
Michael Fewer, Adam Schiff, who's your puppets, the Israeli Mossad, the Jewish Federation, the Anti-Defamation League, the Jewish Defense League, the Chabad, the Jewish Beit Din, the ACLU, the fucking fags and lesbos, the Public Law Center, the Legal Aid, attorneys, judges, and commissioners, the Jewish World Congress, and Nathan Goldman, who decreed the killing of John F. Kennedy and many others. Kill the FBI, the CIA, the NSA, Homeland Security, not ICE. We love you. We just want you to deport the fucking wetbacks.
Okay,
God bless America and Donald Trump.
No, Ms. Ramirez, stay there for 1 second. I'm going to give you other items, but let us first vote on this. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote. So why don't we give you another minute and then your general public comment. So go ahead.
I'm sorry?
You have another minute and then your general public comment.
Okay, thank you. And again, I would like to say, again, let us now kill Nancy Pelosi, her nephew, Gavin Newsom, governor of California, her 13-year-old lover, Robert Mueller, John Brennan, James Clapper, Loretta Lynch, Mark Ridley Thomas, Barack Obama, Michael Robinson or Michelle Obama, Bill Clinton, and the Mexican Mafia, the Mara Salvatrucha, the Norteños, the 18th Street, Temple Street, and again, don't support the international Jewish criminal courts. These are nothing more than reptilian lizards only helping their own fucking Jews. They don't help anybody who is a non-Jew. Please understand that. These fucking Jews all live well. They all have homes. We are the ones in middle-class America who are living on the streets. And we are wonderful women. Many of us are color. And we're living again. And again,
Thank
they use
you.
the niggers, the wetbacks, and the gangbangers.
No. Now you're disrupting. Thank you, Miss Ramirez. Sergeants. Or I just want to acknowledge that there was a threat, and we need to do whatever is appropriate because of the threat that was given by Ms. Ramirez. So let's move on. Item. Okay, we'll do 35 now. Let's open. We have another speaker. That's Aram Gamborian. Aram, come forward. Yes.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hello, my name is Aram Gamborian. I'm actually a resident of the 13th District, born and raised in Los Angeles. And I actually was not planning to come here, but I saw this on the agenda. And I got thinking, why is this necessarily on the agenda? It might be the fact that we're kind of denying the fact that there is a crisis on our border. You know, just in May, we had over 132,000 people apprehended. That's more than 1/10 of the legal immigrants allowed to come in this country. You know, we need to know the information about everyone, not in the sense that the government should have full control, but we should have certain databases analyzing certain things. For instance, Texas is the only state that does have some information. According to, let's say, survey of income and program participation done by the census, it shows that 51%.
Thank you. All right, let's prepare to vote. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
Okay, Madam Clerk, why don't you go through? We have a few motions where we've had amendments. Walk us through those, if you would, please.
Yes, Mr. President. For item 32, amending motion 32A has been posted and circulated for council's consideration.
Okay, let's prepare to vote. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
Continue.
And that's as amended. For item 73, a substitute motion has been posted and circulated for consideration. 2 votes are required. The first vote is whether to substitute.
Okay, we're voting on the substitution. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
Now we'll actually vote on the motion. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
And the next item, Mr. President, on item 75, amending motions 75A and 75B have been posted and circulated for council's consideration.
Okay, let's vote on those items. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
Continue.
On item 79, a substitute motion has been posted and circulated. The first vote would be whether to substitute.
Let's do the first vote on the substitution. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
Now let's actually vote on the issue. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
And on item 80, Mr. President, amending motion.
What was that? I didn't hear that. Item.
On item 80,
Okay.
amending motion 80A has been posted and circulated.
Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
Continue.
On item 82, a substitute motion has been posted and circulated. The first vote would be whether to substitute.
Okay, let's vote on substitution. Open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
Now let's actually vote on the item. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
Continue.
On item 7, amending motion 7A has been posted and circulated.
We'll vote on that item now. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
And that was adopted as amended.
We got to reconsider quickly item 80 because I did not get Mr. Krikorian's verbal amendment. So let's vote on reconsideration. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
Okay, Mr. Krikorian.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I'd ask that we amend the recommendations for item 80 to add the recommendation to request the California Community Foundation to ensure that 2020 census outreach is done in at least all of the languages included in the city's multilingual election services program.
Okay, let's vote on this as amended. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
And then, for the record, item 80 is amended by Mr. Krikorian's motion and the written amending motion 80A.
Can we go to 81, or did I, Madam Clerk? Can we move to? Let's move to.
Item 81 is available for council to vote on.
Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
Is Miss Jackson still here? Mickey Jackson? Come forward on item 44. Item 44.
Mickey Jackson, housing is a human right. I've been sitting here so long. I want to urge us to do everything we can to reform the Ellis Act here and supporting anything that reforms it in the legislature. The Ellis Act has become a crude, blunt instrument that the wealthy and often rapacious landlords, not always, but often, use to evict people. It is an engine of homelessness. It is abused, and no one enforces it. No one checks on it. We don't police it enough. People violate it, but the only real recourse requires more funds than most of the tenants who are victims of it have, and it is a blight on our city, and it is causing people to suffer. It is causing people to die. Homelessness kills.
Thank you. Let's prepare to vote. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
13 eyes.
Madam Clerk, let's move or vote on items 83 through 85. If you would please open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
13 eyes.
Mr. Krikorian, on item 86, some guidance, sir?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Item 86 deals with the payment of a post-jury trial judgment, and you have two amendments before you. 86A should be noted and filed. Item 80 received and filed, excuse me, and item 86B changes the payment instructions, and that should be approved. Budget and Finance approved the recommendations of the City Attorney in committee, and that can be done in open session unless members have questions or concerns about the case.
Thank you. Then, Madam Clerk, you want to move forward, read those items?
Yes, Mr. President, and in the matter entitled James Pearl versus the City of Los Angeles, there is a recommendation to expend up to $14,033,800.65 plus applicable interest.
Let us prepare to vote. No speakers on the queue. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
13 eyes.
If Mr. Previn, you are disrupting this meeting, you do it again, I will have you removed. Continue, Madam Clerk.
And Mr. President, public hearing was satisfied on number 86 in committee.
I know that, and so does Mr. Previn. Okay, so you...
And Mr. President?
Let's get item 46, Jeffrey Masner. Jeffrey, do we have Jeffrey Masner? Come forward, sir. Item 46. Yes, sir.
Good morning. Jeffrey Masner, Valley Alliance of Neighborhood Councils. Today and every other day, more than 40,000 dogs are brutally tortured and killed in the dog meat trade. The clerk has given you a resolution passed by the Valley Alliance of Neighborhood Councils, consisting of all 34 neighborhood councils in the Valley, asking for this resolution. The Vank resolution details some of the methods of torture and killing in the dog meat trade and contains links to videos showing it. It is monstrous. In the City Council file for this matter, there are over 500 public comments in support of the resolution, none that I saw against it, 500 to 0 in favor. Please pass this resolution. Thank you to Councilman Blumenfield, Councilman Rue,
Thank you.
and
Thank
all
you.
of you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, let's vote on this item 46. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
13 eyes.
Now we can vote on item 68 as amended.
Yes, and amending motion 68A has been posted and circulated.
Okay, let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
13 eyes.
Let us continue to hold item 6, and I believe we can vote on the remainder of the items at this time.
And the remaining items would be 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 45, 47, 48, and 49.
Let's prepare to vote. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
13 eyes.
Mr. O'Farrell on item 65. Are you ready? Item 65.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you for seconding the motion in support of requesting that the state give us a $1.2 billion match for HHH. What the state has done, the state legislature that will be wrapping up their session late next week, is they have allocated $650 million statewide under their HEAP, or Housing Emergency Aid Program. But again, that's for municipalities across the entire state of Los Angeles. As we all know, and as I mentioned last week when I stood up, voters in the fall of 2016 approved HHH. We agreed to tax ourselves through property taxes to build up to 10,000 units of permanent supportive housing for the homeless. And then in the spring of 2017, voters across the county of Los Angeles approved Measure H, which provides the wraparound services that people need to help get them back on their feet and into the permanent housing that will give them greater stability in life after being homeless. Now, we also know that because of the leadership of my immediate predecessor as the Homelessness and Poverty Committee, Marquise Harris Dawson, the committee has really worked to set up a successful production of making sure that the monies that are taxpayer approved are spent toward the production of the permanent supportive housing that the voters expect, that people experiencing homelessness need, and that the residents of Los Angeles are demanding, righteously so. And that is to say that by the end of next year, we'll have up to 1,400 units available and ready for move-in. And then within a couple of years after that, we'll have well over 5,000. And then a few years after that, we will get toward that 10,000 unit goal, because we are instituting innovative, lower cost ways to build units of permanent supportive housing for people experiencing homelessness. So Los Angeles City and Los Angeles County, we've agreed to tax ourselves to help tackle this problem, which is why I think it's very fair and justifiable that in light of the state budget surplus of $21.4 billion, that we have every right to request a match that we've already approved here in Los Angeles, because we're taxing ourselves. Now, if Sacramento magically approved this match, that would still leave them with a $20.2 billion surplus. I would argue that we could make that request, and that if other cities across the state, and no one else has done this except Los Angeles, agrees to develop a fund to help address homelessness in their own municipality, I would support them on a match request from the state as well. And lastly, on top of that, I just want to say that, Mickey Jackson, if she's still here, talked about the Ellis Act. I want to congratulate our colleague, Richard Bloom, who is pushing for the reform in the Ellis Act to strengthen tenant protections, but it's probably not enough. We need to support that. We need to support other resolutions, but our state legislators need to reform the Ellis Act, because it is so easy to invoke the Ellis Act and evict an entire building of rent-stabilized ordinance units. I'm dealing with that across my district right now, so we need the state to step it up and reform Ellis Act fundamentally, because we were powerless to really do anything significant against that. And lastly, the Costa-Hawkins Act of 1995 prohibits the city from adding rent-stabilized ordinance units to our inventory. We cannot go beyond the year 1978. So for anyone listening, please help us support our state colleagues in reforming these two acts that are limiting our ability and adding to our numbers of homelessness in the population. We see it in our parks, our streets, our sidewalks, our alleys, and we need a paradigm shift in our thinking on how we deal with homelessness and poverty. The two are inextricably linked, and we have to make sure that we can produce more units of permanent supportive housing, more units of affordable housing, mixed income housing across the city. And according to an analysis by the county, we need over 500,000 units of affordable housing countywide to just meet the current demand. So we all need to get into this act at the local, county, and state level. And that's why, colleagues, I urge your support for approving this request of the state to match us $1.2 billion. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. O'Farrell. There are no other speakers on this item. Let's go ahead and open the roll. Close the row and tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
Okay, Mr.
Yes,
Smith.
Madam President, if you will, I would ask that with reconsideration on item 49, I'd ask for a call special and wanted to vote on that and didn't have the opportunity. Thank you.
Okay, let's just hold off on that. Madam Clerk, let's hold off on, there's a special recognition that Mr. Wu wants to make. Then I've got a bunch of other items we should move on, and then we can get to item 49. Go ahead, Mr. Wu.
Thank you, Madam President. I just want to bring a little levity to our long meeting, our final meeting before recess. And if we could go to the back over there, if we could have the fifth graders from Kester Elementary stand up. Stand up. You guys are on TV?
Welcome.
It's fifth graders from Kester Elementary in Sherman Oaks, led by their teacher, Mr. Sal. Kester comes by pretty much every year, every other year with all the students. Thank you so much for coming, learning about your civic participation, your city government, and learn a lot today, okay? Thank you. Say hi. Wave hi.
Wave so you can be on TV.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Mr. Wu. Madam Clerk, let's go ahead and move on and vote on items number 69, 70, 71, 72, 75, 76, 77, and 78. And 74. Okay, let's go ahead and vote on those items. Let's open the roll. Close the row and tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
Madam Clerk, let's go ahead and open item 49 for reconsideration. Let's go ahead and vote on that. Let's open the row. Close the row and tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
Okay, Mr. Smith, on item 49.
Thank you, Madam President. On item 49, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's a big mistake for ACA 6 to allow prisoners, once upon release, the moment they're released, to have restoration of their voting rights. Prisoners, when they leave prison, doesn't mean they're better citizens. It doesn't mean they have changed their ways. If you look at the crimes in prison, remember, prisoners don't go to jail for misdemeanors. They're going to jail for felony arrests. That can range from sexual assault, assault with a deadly weapon, on up to murder. When they walk out the door, that doesn't mean they are ready to go back to society and fulfill their duties as a good person in our society. In fact, if you look at many of these crimes, the recidivism rate is from 70 to 95%. On sexual predators, it is 95% are arrested within 5 years and go back to jail for the same crime. If this ACA said when you leave prison doors that you have an opportunity to get your rights back if you productive citizen for 5 years or something, then that would be an objective test to say you're showing us you deserve our appreciation of society, that you're willing to assume the responsibility of being a good citizen. Walking out the door does not assume anything other than they finished their term. About 2 years ago, Mr. Weesar, I did a crime in your district, a murder that I solved, a cold case murder, where the man went to a bar in your district on Whittier Boulevard. He was a Korean War veteran. He stabbed a man 103 times. He is in prison for at least 25 years. He did it as a gang order to get even with a man because he wasn't paying dues to the White Fence gang. What makes you think that when he walks out the doors of prison, he's a better citizen? Nothing. So I say, if you want to do something like this, make it there be a citizenship test. Make people prove they are worthy of society's trust, and we'll give them back our respect by letting them have the right to vote. In the meantime, I think this is ill-advised ACA, and I say we should vote no. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Let's go ahead and vote on this item. Ms. Ramirez, I need you to, please, ma'am. No, Mr. Previn, thank you very much. Let's go ahead and open the roll. Close the roll and tabulate the vote.
12 ayes, 1 no.
Thank you. Let's move on to item number 7. Mr. Koretz, you want this item to be reconsidered? Let's go ahead and vote on reconsideration. Let's open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
13
Okay,
ayes.
this item is now before us. Mr. Koretz, go ahead.
Thank you, Madam President. Just in the last recent period of time, the Midwest had 1,000-year floods. There were record-setting heat waves in Europe, and Guadalajara, Mexico, had 3 feet of hail. I can't even picture what that looks like. And none of this even got significant news nationally. This is the new abnormal, and we can't just take it as that. The United Nations had an international panel on climate change and released a report a few months ago that said we have 12 years at best to dramatically turn around greenhouse gas production and global warming to have our society and our world survive. And the folks locally and nationally that bear the brunt of this are often lower income frontline communities that can't afford to repair themselves and to rebuild. And given that greenhouse gases continue to rise and air, water, and soil pollution continue to get dramatically worse, we clearly have to up our game if we're going to deal with this crisis. And so when we first introduced this motion to create a climate emergency mobilization department, other cities in this country took it as our declaration of a climate emergency. And so they followed up. And Berkeley did it, followed by a number of other cities, Richmond, Santa Cruz, then London, San Francisco, New York City, and the country of Canada. There's now 717 governments that have declared climate emergencies. But the question many of them are asking is, then what? What do we do? So that's the question the LEAP LA Coalition and my office have been working hard together over the past 2 years to answer. Many cities have important goals, but what they lack is a strong and detailed implementation plan guided by a strong moral vision and a decision to save our planet. If we're going to mobilize and overhaul our energy and transportation systems, we have to get it right. And we have to do it in such a way that our frontline communities not only participate, but they have to receive the first benefit from this as well. We also have to be sure that workers from the fossil fuel industry, especially those over 40, remain a priority in retraining, and that they get comparable jobs for a true and honest, just transition. So I believe what we have before you today sets us on that right path. With your support, we'll create the first Office of Climate Emergency Mobilization to lead this effort. We'll launch community assemblies to process our frontline communities' thoughts and to engage them in this effort so they can help lead us to where we need to go to serve this effort more effectively. Mayor Garcetti and I have worked together, and he provided funding in the budget to create a climate emergency commission who will oversee the Office of Climate Emergency Mobilization and ensure that it sticks to the principles that it is founded upon and that it moves forward at the necessary speed if we're to keep our beautiful and fragile planet together. The LEAP Coalition and I have a few slight amendments to the committee report. We wanted to have 3 local indigenous tribes to have representation on the commission. We wanted to have 7 geographically most polluted communities to have representation. We wanted to clarify that the small business representative actually be the owner of a small business. And we wanted to be able to initiate the community assemblies as soon as possible rather than waiting for the person to be chosen as the director of the office. I want to thank my brave co-author, Councilmember Blumenfield. I'm not sure if he knew what he was getting into when we started this process. I'm not sure I did either. I also want to thank Mayor Garcetti, President Weston, Councilmember Martinez for your leadership, collaboration, and foresight. I want to thank Councilmember Krikorian for his thoughtful budget leadership, and the rest of the members of our budget committee, Councilmembers Bonin, Price, and Blumenfield, for working with us to fund the office, the staff, the community assemblies, and possible pilot projects that may arise after we go through the community assemblies process. And I want to thank all of your staff who worked on this so hard with us, including especially Ackley Padilla, Lauren Faber, Greg Good, and Martin Schlageter. And lastly, I want to thank the LEAP LA Coalition for weeks and months of hard and focused and really difficult work. And also, finally, I want to thank my environmental policy director, Andy Schrader, who unfortunately could not be here today due to a family emergency, who's put in countless hours on this project. So we have a long, long way to go today, but this is an important, historic, and major step forward. So thank you, colleagues, for supporting this effort.
Thank you, Mr. Corrett. So we're going to go ahead and vote on item number 7 as amended. Let's go ahead and open the roll. Close the roll and tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
Okay, Madam Clerk, let's move on to Special 1. Let's go ahead and vote on Special 1, and we have to vote on the findings. Mr. Blumenfield.
Okay. Thank you, Madam President. So I'm usually very reluctant to bring a Rule 23 forward. There has to be obviously an urgency for that, but in this case there really is, in the sense that the Valley Economic Development Center yesterday filed for bankruptcy, and they operate the West Valley and the North Valley Business Source Centers, and they're critical organizations that help small businesses thrive. Because they filed bankruptcy after the posting of yesterday's agenda, and the consequences of that are immediate. We needed to take action right away to authorize EWDD to find and execute an agreement with another operator for the West Valley and North Valley business centers, and to report back on the outcome of this bankruptcy and what it's doing. So I don't think the issue at hand is controversial at all, but the timing is critical because it occurred after the posting of yesterday's agenda, and it's important that we move forward on this. So I urge an aye vote.
We have cards on this item. Let's go ahead and vote on the findings. Let's open the roll. Close the roll and tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
Let's go ahead and vote on, I'm sorry, we're going to take cards. Wayne Spindler, followed by Herman and Greenspan Rabbi. Special 1.
Mommy. So yes, we want to take our little kids in the big bad blob, blob, blob and bleld, and the big bad blob, blob and bleld, trying to stop the federal bankruptcy. And you know that Jose Huizar takes a big interest in this matter because he's going to file for bankruptcy too on the same day as the motion. Because you see, you file for bankruptcy and you
fuck your creditors. That's why you file bankruptcy. Aye, let's all sing the song. Herb Wesson doesn't pay, nobody pays, everybody files bankruptcy. Bankruptcy for everybody, yes, absolutely. Deny this motion. Blob, blob, and blob needs to go to the bankruptcy court in Woodland Hills. Fuck the city council. God bless bankruptcy, and God bless debt.
Next speaker, Armando Herman, followed by Greenspan Rabbi, followed by Patricia McAllister and Arnold Sachs.
How dare you recuse yourself from this federal bankruptcy? How dare you engage this horseshoe that nobody in the city of Los Angeles shall be recused of these actions of bankruptcy? Do you know what it's like to tell the people that you borrow from that you made a horrible mistake with this bankruptcy issue? The lenders are going to say, why are we fucking with these people with this bankruptcy shit? They promised to pay us on the backside of this shit and said they took it to Weezer and his federal investigation, and now we're all under a federal FBI. Fuck you, bitch!
Next speaker, Greenspan Rabbi Patricia McAllister, Arnold Sachs, and Antonio Ramirez. Special one, sir.
Yes, thanks for the social promotion. I dropped out of Jewish Sunday school 3 times. I don't know how I become a rabbi, but whatever. Now, bankruptcy. Come on. Sometimes people fall on hard times and things get to them, and they do go through a bankruptcy. It actually goes back to biblical days, if anybody remembers maybe their parochial school training or whatever. It is there, and it's in our law. But now you guys put all your eggs in a basket, and oops, the basket dropped, and all the eggs spilled. What can I say? They filed bankruptcy. Now I'm filled with regret. I'm filled with regret that I never had any violin lessons so I can play My Heart Cries for You. Because after all, too bad. Hey!
Next speaker, Patricia McAllister. She's not here. Arnold Sachs, followed by Antonio Ramirez and Mickey Jackson.
Yes, thank you again. For the record, Arnold Sachs, or Arnold Ross Sachs. So the last time I believe bankruptcy came up in front of the city council was around 2008, and everybody in the coalition of workers got a 25% pay raise. Bankruptcy in the state of California, bankruptcy in the city of Los Angeles. Mr. Koretz mentioned funding. He lost me when he talked about bureaucracy, but that's a different story. But you have all that marijuana sales tax and all that marijuana excise tax that nobody talks about. See, the problem is the federal government's involved in drugs, and they don't want to give up the drug money that they're making. And the states are involved in drugs now, and they don't want to give up the drug money they're making. So you have this impasse, so everybody talks about immigration. You have another impasse with health care, and everybody talks about immigration. That's the real problem. Stop listening to the noise and pay attention to the issues. It's the marijuana sales tax revenue that the federal government has, and Herbie's back.
Thank you. Your time's expired. Let's get Antonia, followed by Mickey Jackson, followed by Mr. Previn. Yes.
Bankruptcy is nothing to be proud of. Actually, you should have been ashamed because this city should have filed for bankruptcy long time ago. And where the money is coming from, as Arnold Sachs said, drug money is supporting this city. Drugs, 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 opiates, and every form of criminal enterprise, because the criminal monopolies employed by the city are what's holding this city abreast. Who runs the fucking criminal monopolies and the drug money? Your fucking neighborhood Jews. Your fucking neighborhood Jews. Those are who are running the criminal empire. That's why this city is still afloat. And that's why middle-class America, loudmouths, big mouths like myself, are homeless on the streets purely out of retaliation. But make no mistake, it's going to backfire. Every one of these motherfucking Jews are going to pay for the crimes that they've committed against humanity and the high treasons that they've committed.
Thank you. Next.
Mickey Jackson. I wanted to say that while I support AB 1110 to give people more time, more warning for rent control, for a rent
Mr.
increase.
President, this is not what Special 1 is about.
This is item 50.
No, that item has already been considered.
Special 1.
Oh, then I was never called for item 50 that I signed up for. Okay.
Miss, you got to speak on this item, Miss Jackson.
Fine. This is the most chaotic, out of order, nobody can keep track of it meeting I have seen since I've been coming here.
Your time's expired. Okay, Mr. Previn.
Thank you, sir, and I'd like to thank Blumenfield for stepping in here to take care of this matter. Now, it is unfortunate, but I cannot identify exactly which matter it is because the team over here under Avok's leadership has simply denied the little piece of paper, sir. You know, it's a very low standard in this hall, but we managed to slip right under it. I think when we have items, no matter whether they're neutral or just unabashedly good-natured, like the Mr. Blumenfield, who is a terrific guy from CD3 who doesn't like to sneak around as part of his ordinary behavior. But when something like this comes late to his attention, it has to be circulated. So I'm wondering if some of the staff, I know Justin is your floor manager, and he's been doing a great job of managing the floor,
Let's
sir.
stay on the subject.
No, I am, but we're talking about how we can get the information, because I don't even know what to say other than Blumenfield is doing something and nobody told him until yesterday. I mean, or today. It's just, can we get any information about it? That's not the way we roll down at City Hall. And what's wrong with this guy for asking?
Thank you. All right, do we have Ms. Tompkins? And A. Mello.
Hi there, my name is Yolanda Tompkins. I'm a homeless mother. I work for United States Postal Service. I've been homeless since 2016. You guys are forming these temporary shelters. They're not fit. My daughter's graduation was June the 6th.
You have to be on topic. This is item special 1. You have to speak to special 1. You're not on topic. So speak to this item, special 1.
What is special 1 about?
Okay, then you signed up to speak on it. Obviously, there's some confusion. So let me get Ms. Mello. Are you prepared to speak on this item? Because you have to speak on special 1. This is not general public comment.
Oh, okay.
This is public comment pertaining to a specific item.
Is public comment for her?
No, this is public comment on this specific item. Thank you. So obviously both of you were not prepared to speak on this
Excuse me,
item.
I was speaking on her behalf, not me. Thank you,
well,
Herb Weston. So let me speak on special 1.
No, wait. First of all, you don't run this meeting, all right? I'll let you, no, Mr. Herman, let's have him removed. Let's have Mr. Herman removed. Okay, Ms. Tompkins, away from the mic, and then yes, now you can speak on this item, special 1.
Which is bankruptcy, right?
Special 1.
Okay. I appreciate it if you don't censor people's 1-minute sorry-ass way to speak. And if I want to speak on bankruptcy, I'm speaking on special 1.
No.
Excuse me, I'm speaking.
Your time. Let's take our time. Thank you very much. Now let's prepare to vote on this item. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote. Please take your seat. Thank you. All right. Thank you. Now you're disrupting the meeting. You can remove her as well. Thank you. All right. So, Madam Clerk, what is the meeting is still being disrupted? What is before the meeting is still being disrupted? What is before this body at this time?
Item 6 is still before council, and motion 6C has been posted and circulated.
So on that item, let's vote as where Mr. Herman is continuing to disrupt this meeting as he's being removed from these chambers. All right. Okay, so we're on 6.
Correct. Council may vote on this item as amended.
Okay, let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
Okay, and what is remaining?
Council has motions for posting and referral.
They are posted. They are referred. Announcements, members, announcements. Mr. Blumenfield.
I just wanted to announce that the best fireworks in the city of Los Angeles can be seen tomorrow, July 4th, the Warner Center Park. Come early. There's music. It will start around 6, but come earlier to get your picnic spot. We literally get about 60,000 people coming to this event. It's called the Bob Blumenfield Fireworks Extravaganza, and I urge you all to be part of it.
All right, Mr. Harris Dawson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. On tomorrow, on this side of the mountain, the best fireworks that you'll be able to see will be sponsored by Council District 9 at the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum, beginning at about 3 in the afternoon and going well into the evening. All are welcome on behalf of Councilmember Curran Price.
Okay, and as we, Mr. Cedillo.
But before you start with those festivities, I want to make sure I invite all of you. You know, we are living in one of the more difficult times of our nation, one of the darkest days. People are dying at the border. Every month, more horrific stories about people who are coming to this country seeking political asylum are dying at the border. Children are being kept in cages. Families are being broken up. Children are taken away from their parents. It's the most deplorable conditions we've ever seen in this nation outside of slavery. I say that with all due respect. And so tomorrow, before all these festivities start on the 4th of July in this great nation of immigrants, we're going to honor those beginnings with a celebration and a statement of opposition to the policies of the Trump administration, with a celebration here at at the Placita here at Olvera Street. And so come join us for a festive morning. We'll have music and entertainment, great American food, and a big celebration. And it starts at 10 o'clock at the Placita here at Olvera Street, 10 to 12. So before we get ready for all our fireworks, we'll see if we engage in some fireworks in the morning. And then after that, of course, I know you have your fireworks. Trish Toledo will be playing over here at MacArthur Park. And so for all of you who love great music, I guarantee you'll enjoy it. And if not, I guarantee I'll give you your money back from the show. Trish Toledo at MacArthur Park with our show, working with Levitt Pavilion at 6 o'clock tomorrow. Look forward to seeing all of you.
Okay, Ms. Ramirez, Sergeant, please. I've warned you all day. Remove Ms. Ramirez. Now, are there any more announcements about the greatest displays of fireworks in the city of Los Angeles? So, I think you know what? We're going to have to throw us out. All right. So now, what I'm gonna go to Mr. Bonin right now. Mr. Bonin.
Thank you. When you're that good, you don't need to boast, so I'll give you just the facts.
Ms. Ramirez is continually disrupting the meeting, and so she will be celebrating with President Donald Trump tomorrow. Okay. All right, Mr. Bonin.
Thank you, Mr. President. Tomorrow, a number of things on the west side. There will be an old-style small-town parade through the streets of Westchester, starting at my field office in Westchester, ending at LMU. That's at 11 a.m. Pacific Palisades has a number of events. There's a parade at 1 p.m. and a fireworks show at Palisades High School at 6 p.m. All day long at Venice Beach is Mr. and Mrs. Muscle Beach competition. And then technically outside the city of Los Angeles, but we get all the traffic and all the noise and all the impacts, is the county 4th of July fireworks in the marina, and that starts tomorrow night right after sundown. Thank you.
Okay, now I believe that this side, is this the west side of the... So, Mr. Weezer and Koretz, are there any announcements so we can handle the west side, then we'll go to the east side?
Some firework displays just don't need an announcement. People come. So if you want to see a fireworks show that the city does not sponsor, just look to Boyle Heights. If you want to come downtown, in front of City Hall, we have our annual 4th of July show. So come on out. If you want to mix work with pleasure and celebrate the independence of our country, we want to have one here in the steps of City Hall.
Thank you, Mr. Weezer. No, Mr. Koretz, you didn't move quick enough. Yes, you did, Mr. Koretz.
Well, I want to announce we have no fireworks whatsoever in Council District 5. We prefer to keep it quiet. However, we do have a neighborhood parade in the Little Holmby area, followed by a celebration in the park. So that is always a great event every year, and I will be joining that this year.
Glad to hear that. We will all come over to your house, and there will be a fireworks display when you get the rest of us there. I now want to go to I think this is the east side of the building, Mr. Krikorian.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. President. And in light of the plethora of outstanding fireworks opportunities that we have at every corner of the city of Los Angeles, I would just like to also note that other than fireworks displays, professional fireworks shows, all fireworks in the city of Los Angeles are illegal. And it's important for people to understand that these not only cause great injuries to children every single year, they frighten animals. Los Angeles Animal Services is now accepting foster parents for the dogs and cats that will inevitably need homes because they're frightened by illegal fireworks. So I'd like to urge all Angelinos to attend one of these great shows. Celebrate the 4th of July, but please don't disrupt your neighborhood with illegal fireworks. Second, Mr. President, on a more positive note, I'd like to invite everyone who's happens to be in the East Valley, or even if you're not in the East Valley, come on down to North Hollywood Park Saturday night at 7 o'clock. And in fact, every Saturday night from now until August, the first week of August, we're going to be having NoHo Summer Nights. And this Saturday, beginning at 7 a.m., we have 2 terrific bands. This is free. Just bring a picnic lunch and a blanket and enjoy the acts. We have Incendio, which is an acclaimed Los Angeles-based group that performs world guitar compositions with influences of Latin, Middle Eastern, and Celtic music. And opening up for them will be the emerging artist that we have, Cunhao, which is a Los Angeles-based Latin folk group with multi-ethnic backgrounds and influences. It's a great way to spend an evening for free in the park with your neighbors, enjoying great music at North Hollywood Park, the corner of Magnolia and Tahunga.
Thank you. Ms. Martinez, did you have your hand up earlier?
No fireworks in my district except for unfortunately, the illegal ones.
Okay, any other?
Thank you very much for calling on me.
Anybody on the east side? Mr. O'Farrell?
Thank you, Mr. President. From the north side to the south side, from the west side to the east side, we love LA on the 4th of July. Just had to say that. But I do have an announcement.
Go ahead.
And so if you want to see the best skate park display anywhere in LA this coming weekend, come to Chevy Chase Park in Atwater Village, where we are having the grand opening of a brand new skate park, a year and a half in the making. And Bob, I know you're a skateboarder, so everyone's welcome to join us. I will be on a skateboard on Saturday, the 6th, from 11 to 1:30.
Why am I not surprised?
At Chevy Chase. But I will be on a skateboard, but also probably fall off a skateboard.
I doubt that.
But anyway, thank you. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I just couldn't be more proud of my team for pushing this forward, and our own Recreation and Parks Department. It's a phenomenal new facility at Chevy Chase Park, which is at the intersection of Laclede and Chevy Chase in North Atwater Village. It'll be a big celebration. Everyone's welcome to join us after the 4th of July. Thank you so much.
Any more announcements on this side? Okay, I don't see any more announcements. Let's go to adjourning motions. All rise. If all would rise in council chambers for adjourning motions. Mr. Huizar.
Thank you, Mr. President. And colleagues, I ask that we adjourn today's meeting in honor of a great Angelino, someone who gave a lot of his life to help our young people in our community and in LAUSD. I ask that we adjourn in memory of Antonio Gaspi, a loving husband, son, father, grandfather, and community activist. I got to know Antonio when I was on the Board of Education, and I would love walking into Roosevelt High School and see him driving around a little car, doing what he can to help out. And what I found interesting is that when I would walk up to him, I thought we'd talk about what's he doing to clean up, but he would ask me about the budget and the latest policy, and he was very well informed of what was going on. And from there, whenever I'd see him and run into him, he'd often give me advice about what I should be doing and should be doing. But this is a person with a great heart, a big heart, and gave a lot of himself to our community. Antonio Gaspi was born on February 5, 1943 in Nochislan, Zacatecas, and was the son of a teacher. He met his wife Isaura in Bow Heights and were married for 55 years and together had 5 daughters. Antonio worked and volunteered for more than 30 years in LAUSD schools across the East Side. He began his volunteer work as a parent at Belvedere Middle School and as president of the parent group, and then followed his daughters as they grew up, volunteering at Stevenson Middle School and eventually Roosevelt High School. Together, he and his wife founded the Parent Center at Roosevelt High School, providing a support system for parents, empowering them to advocate for their children's education. Through the Parent Center, Antonio and Isaura raised money by selling food at the Roosevelt football games. Such money was used to help fund a portion of grad night and to provide scholarships to students for college and high school students for their immediate needs, including helping cover rent and medical expenses. And believe me, this went a long way for an area that is low income. In the late 90s, he began his career as an LAUSD district liaison. Antonio was a community activist who fought for educational access, parent participation, and accountability in our schools. He spoke persuasively at school meetings, was prepared and well-informed because he understood school budgets, education codes, and regulations. He went above and beyond because he cared. He cared about students, their parents, and the neighborhood. Antonio's activism inspired his daughters and grandchildren. As a result, his granddaughter, with the help of her grandfather, created an organization called Bow Heights Rising, intended to help bring about positive community change by organizing community cleanups. Now, through this organization, his granddaughter has an annual prom dress giveaway where she collects prom dresses for girls in the East Side. Overall, Antonio enjoyed working in different volunteer opportunities that helped improve the community. During his free time, when he wasn't volunteering, Antonio enjoyed spending time with his family and singing his favorite mariachi songs. He also enjoyed traveling to his hometown of Nochislan. Antonio's legacy and passion for education carries forward through his 5 daughters and 16 grandchildren who have attended and are attending UCLA, USC, Azusa Pacific, Cal State LA, UC Riverside, Le Cordon Bleu, American Career College, and West Point. Our deepest condolences to his wife Isaura, his mother Margarita, 5 daughters, and 16 grandchildren. He certainly will be greatly missed in the Bow Heights community, LAUSD, and the city of Los Angeles. I want to welcome his family members who are here today, and our deepest condolences. Thank you for sharing him with us, and we will certainly miss him, his laughter, his smile, his great spirit, and for me, just a great friendship. So thank you so much.
Well said, Mr. Huizar. Mr. Cedillo.
I'd like to add to that, if I may, Mr. Huizar. The Gaspi family is one of the most prominent families in Boyle Heights, well respected, a family that's really engaged in civic participation, models of volunteerism, and they're just one of the pillars of that great community, and it's a great loss for the family and for the entire community.
Mr. Cedillo.
I want to add to the list here of closing memory of yesterday I noted, late last night, the passing of Lee Iacocca. He's an Angelino, a great American and a great leader. I've mentioned before that I have a great interest in leadership and leadership models, and one of the great influences of my life is the 1984 autobiography of Lee Iacocca. He was an innovator. He was a engineer by training, went to Princeton. He was the head of Ford at the age of 36.
Hold on, Mr. Cedillo. Mr. Spindler, sergeants, remove Mr. Spindler. Remove him. Mr. Spindler, you're disturbing. No, you are. You could at least be respectful at this part of our program. It has nothing to do with the agenda. Let's have Mr. Spindler removed. And he's still disrupting. He is still disrupting, Madam City Attorney.
And Mr.
He is
President,
still-
for the record, because in case the cameras didn't catch it, Mr. Spindler was waving his arms around, trying to get our attention to disrupt us
And he's
and turn our
continuing
attention
to
away
do
from the
that.
matter. And he continues to shout as he's exiting the room.
Okay. All right, so Mr. Spindler, please have him removed. Have him removed. Okay, Mr. Cedillo.
Mr. Chair, that's so inappropriate. Lee Iacocca was a great American and helped turn around Chrysler in 1980. He went over to Chrysler and turned it around and saved hundreds of thousands of jobs. Chrysler was pivotal, as the auto industry is, to our economy. He worked with the unions. He had the union president, Doug Frazier, on his board. And Doug Frazier was a very open socialist at the time, and yet he worked with Doug Frazier and had him on his board. In 2007, I was early on a supporter of Barack Obama. But before that, before Iowa, I was working with Bill Richardson on his presidential campaign. And so Lee Iacocca invited Bill Richardson, and I was able to join him to his home. And we were there with Casey Kasem and a few other people and had a nice event. And I got to meet him. I was very excited about it. I took my book and did all the things that all of us do when we see people who are our leaders and our heroes. And he was an incredible man. He was a really decent human being. Got to spend time with him. You could see the effects of his disease beginning, but just a super gracious man, a really committed human being. And just I'm very proud to have been able to sit in his room with him and his, small gathering of people and have a conversation about leadership. And so I think it's more than appropriate for this city and this nation to recognize one of our greatest leaders.
Thank you. Now let me look to the right, my right side. Any adjourning motions on the right side, Mr. Rue?
Thank you, Mr. President. And colleagues, the community of Fremont Place has lost a shining light. Ann Lombard, mother of Larchmont Buzz co-publisher Patty Lombard, who's here with us today, and her husband Bill. Ann Lombard has always been involved in her community. Just locally, she volunteered with the Wilshire E. Bell, supported the Alexandria House serving homeless women, and was a parishioner at St. Brennan's Church. She was born in Medville, Pennsylvania on June 15, 1928, and grew up in a small town before going to university in Indiana, Pennsylvania, where she earned a degree in home economics. In 1951, she married Rocky Lombard. And in 1960, the couple moved to Fort Lauderdale, Florida, where Rocky got involved in the insurance business, eventually opening the Ross, Lombard, and Ballard Insurance Company, and Ann became a high school teacher for home economics. During her 25-year career, Ann pioneered new family and life skill courses, making her a beloved and well-known faculty member among students and teachers alike. After retiring from teaching, Ann started a second career, a new career as a community activist, planting trees and chairing the Fort Lauderdale's first community appearance board, and she also became a realtor, helping new families find that perfect new home in her community. After earning her last commission check at the age of 80, Ann came to Los Angeles, where she and Rocky settled in a small cottage behind the home of her daughter, Patty, and son-in-law, Bill. She brought her positivity, charm, and love of gardening to Los Angeles, where she was able to spend more time with her children and grandchildren. Ann is survived by her husband of 68 years, Rocky, her children, John, Claudia, Joanna, Dennis, and Patty, her son-in-law, Bill Simon, and her grandchildren, Dorothy Ann and William Hector, Joseph and Matthew Lombard, Emily and Alexandra Simon, as well as her sister, Josephine, and her brother, Sandy. In lieu of flowers, her family welcomes donations to the Alexandria House to be made in her honor. May she rest in peace.
The Alexandria House is a really top-flight operation. It does phenomenal work. We have a very good relationship. So I just think that's so appropriate, and I know it's going to be appreciated. Are there any more adjourning motions to my right? I don't see any members. This meeting is adjourned.
Of everyone, housed or unhoused.
The city will also be piloting a new mobile hygiene station and is developing a program to train and hire homeless Angelenos to support cleanup efforts. We recently sat down with Councilmember Joe Buscaino to discuss the economic development in his district and what they're doing in areas like San Pedro and Watts to address homelessness. Anita Bennett has more.
Over the past few years, Council District 15 has seen a tremendous amount of economic development. But like so many other parts of the city, it's also struggled with homelessness. To discuss these issues is Councilman Joe Buscaino. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks so much for having me, Anita.
What are some of the biggest issues that your constituents talk about?
Well, three top issues are homelessness, and homelessness. Every day we field calls about the concerns of homeless individuals living in our streets from Watts down to San Pedro. The city of Los Angeles needs to move on solving this humanitarian crisis, as Mayor Garcetti has called it, and the city council moving on doing all we can to solve homelessness. In my district, I have 3 bridge homes that will be open by the end of this year. And in addition, I'm moving on a navigation center that's going to allow homeless individuals to store their personal property and at the same time have access to services on site, and really thank the LAPD because that storage site will be housed adjacent to the LAPD harbor station to move individuals from the sidewalks and into emergency shelter. And with that comes the enforcement and cleanup. We have really embraced and supported flyaway homes. That's actually 4 times cheaper and 4 times faster in putting together these prefab homes that are now housing individuals who are formerly homeless.
So many times when you have these community meetings, there is opposition. So did you encounter a lot of that?
We encountered some concerns and opposition, of course, and that is something that we anticipated and expected. But in my district, we've had a homeless task force that has been driven by neighborhood council leaders, and they've really taken the lead on embracing solutions and working hand in hand with my office. In each of these proposed locations, we had outreach and opportunity for community members to come and express their concerns and answer a number of their questions. We are hoping that our colleagues in neighboring municipalities can do their part, and we're hoping to compel them to seek solutions so that the problem of homelessness is dealt with and solved as a regional effort and not just the City of Los Angeles. We are leading in Council District 15, along with our stakeholders and community leaders. We're leading with solutions, and I'm really proud of what we've done in my district.
Stay tuned to Channel 35 for the full interview. For more information on the 15th District and Joe Buscaino, visit their website, la15th.com. Ever wanted to check out what it's like to drive one of LA's trash trucks? Okay, well maybe I wouldn't, but these kids and one awesome parent had a great time doing just that at an LA Sanitation open house in the harbor. Check it out.
This is our 5th event so far of the year. LA San puts on 6 events every year. We do it in every district. Today we're in the harbor. The importance of this event is to show the residents what services we offer. We have city plants. They brought 225 trees. It's a free tree giveaway. Kids get to operate the trash trucks. We barbecue. We have raffles for the kids. But it's a way for LA San to get in touch with the residents to show what services we have to offer. It's a great event for the family.
Oh man, the kids love this, man. My 2-year-old, he loves garbage trucks, so taking him out here was a good way for him to kind of see what what it's all about and get in the truck and just see what else local community is doing. I think it's more about building that foundation at a young age, teaching them how to recycle, how important that is, and they'll have it with them as they grow older.
My kids are obsessed with trash trucks, so when I found out about this event, it was a definite must. We climbed into the trucks and honked the horn and pushed the up and down button, the lever, so it was fun. More fun for me, actually.
There's plenty more open houses planned for the summer around the city. To find one near you, check out their website at lacitysan.org. She's a civil rights activist with honors like the Presidential Medal of Freedom and a place in the National Women's Hall of Fame. But now she's got her own honor in Boyle Heights. We're on the scene for the official unveiling of Dolores Huerta Square.
Ladies and gentlemen, American icon, Dolores
Huerta! How to register voters, how to get them out to vote. And those lessons that Fred Ross taught the leaders here are the ones that I took when we started the United Farm Workers.
We've been touched by her, whether we know it or not, whether it was legislation she advocated for, helping those in need. All of us have been impacted by her work. She may be small in stature, but she's huge in the wars she has fought and won for all of us.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Si se puede. Dolores Huerta still works as an activist with her foundation, which works on the grassroots level to develop future leaders. You can read more at doloreshuerta.org. Summer's officially here, and at many Los Angeles pools, there's a cool program that helps kids between 4 and 17 learn how to swim. Forgive the pun, but let's dive right in.
Our Swim LA program is open to everyone in the community, from children to adults, senior citizens. Everyone is welcome to join our programs at any of our 50 swimming pools.
These group lessons and teams actually help the participants become lifeguards. They're able to gain the confidence that they need in order to take the exam. They must be 17 years old and they need to join an academy, and after that, they're able to become lifeguards.
So I decided to be a lifeguard because I was participating in Rankin Park's citywide aquatic swim programs since I was 9 years old. I did junior guards, swim team, water polo, and it was just a nice way to give back to the community.
Last year I learned a bunch of things like breaststroke and butterfly.
I wanted to learn how to swim, and I started in a beginner's class, and I went up to intermediate, and I kept on going up and up until I got up to junior lifeguard.
We have a free or affordable program for everyone in the family. Visit swimla.org and you can locate the nearest swimming pool to your home and register either online or you can come in person and register for any of our programs.
It's enjoying, it's exhilarating, I love it a lot, and it's super exciting.
Swim LA is a part of a broader effort by Mayor Garcetti to get kids active and ready for the 2028 LA Olympics. When one of those kids wins gold, just remember, you saw them here first. Well, maybe swimming isn't your thing, but how about fishing? We head to Cabrillo Beach Pier to check out their summer fishing program for kids.
We started in 1988. It was started by Roger Williams. We've been going every year since. A lot of the inner city kids, they never have a chance to come down to the beach. For them, it's something special. It's something once in a lifetime a lot of times. First time ever, first fish they ever catch.
The pier is located at 3800 Stephen M. White Drive in Los Angeles. The fishing program runs Tuesday to Friday from 9:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. through August 2nd. June is LGBT Pride Month here in Los Angeles, and as a part of our Pride series, we take a visit to one of LA's most beloved LGBT theaters. Gil Reyes takes us behind the scenes with Celebration Theater.
On this very special Pride Month, we pay a visit to the oldest continuously producing LGBTQ+ theater in the United States. And to this day, Celebration Theater here in Hollywood continues to churn out the hits relevant to an increasingly diverse LGBTQ+ community.
Get in there! Go!
Prisoners of love, blue skies above, can't keep our hearts in jail.
Can't keep our hearts in jail.
Celebration Theater was founded in 1982 by Chuck Rowland, who is one of the original gay pioneers, founders of the Mattachine Society. It was sort of an underground movement here in Los Angeles that was really a safe space for the gay rights movement.
We're still prisoners, we're still prisoners, we're still prisoners of love.
We're at rehearsals for an upcoming presentation of The Producers, an LGBTQ take on the Mel Brooks classic. Theater Director of Development Christopher Makish says productions in his small space are evolving to include more diversity within the LGBTQ+ community.
People of color, the trans community, to be quite honest, folks who are not cisgender white guys who look like me. So I'm given an opportunity here in a leadership role to leverage my privilege, hopefully in ways in the years to come that can help tell the stories of members of our community, of our family, who haven't been given enough voice.
We just did a partnership with A Noise Within Theater and with the trans chorus called Trans Sister Radio, which was an evening of all trans performers. And that had never been done. It was my idea and people came on board right away and it was a huge success. You know, trans and bi folks are completely underserved. You know, we never talk about the bi community. And we have company members who are bi.
Artistic director Michael A. Shepard looks forward to other stories coming out and hopes audiences leave with a better understanding.
Take that positivity that they receive from our shows and pay it forward and do something nice for someone else, or learn how to become a stronger ally to the LGBTQ+ community.
Celebration Theater recently took home 7 Los Angeles Drama Critics Circle Awards. See what the critics are raving about. Catch a show at the Lex Theater at 6760 Lexington Avenue. For ticket info, log on to celebrationtheater.com.
Thanks, Gil, and congrats on those Drama Critics Circle Awards to everyone at Celebration Theater. Councilwoman Nuri Martinez held her 5th annual Valley Pride Festival this last weekend, and we were on hand for the party. This year's theme, One Valley, One Love. Check it out.
This is our 5th annual Valley Pride event that we host here in the community of Van Nuys. It's really to energize and get behind, One Valley, One Love in support of our LGBT community here in the San Fernando Valley. We're about 1.5 million people strong in the San Fernando Valley. It's about time that we have our own celebration.
You tolerate something that you don't like, but you embrace and you accept what you respect and what you love. And full acceptance is really where it's at.
I am thrilled to see so many people out here celebrating, but we have pride and we have purpose. And that purpose is to make sure that we have a more just society and that everybody in our city has opportunity to realize their dreams.
Over 1,000 people attended Valley Pride this year in Van Nuys, making it the largest in their 5-year history. Councilwoman Monica Rodriguez knows how to throw a pool party. We caught up with her at the Handsome Dam Aquatic Center as she kicks off her summer movie nights in the Northeast Valley. Anna Marcos is poolside with more.
What better place to watch a summertime movie than a giant swimming pool, one with a sandy beach and lots of water toys.
And then we heard about this event, and I said, all right, let's go. Wrap up your blankets, get your stuffed animals, your pillows, and let's go.
Most of these movie fans have also brought their bathing suits. The kids and families are out for a watery good time as a full season of free movie nights kicks off at Hansen Dam Aquatic Center in Council District 7. Last year's opening night movie, Jaws, was such a huge success, they wanted to do it again.
When I had this wild idea to screen Jaws here at the pool while people kind of were floating in the water, it set off a few nerves, but we found a way to make it happen.
This year's opening night movie is Shark Tale, an animated comedy about fish and sharks starring Will Smith.
Hi.
But things are getting pretty fishy underwater even before the movie starts.
I think it's nice to be watching a movie while playing around in the water.
The movie night, swimming, having fun with our family.
Yeah, and friends.
We're gonna watch Shark Tale.
No, we're not a big fan of.
We're more a fan of Jaws. You are. That's your opinion. I like Shark Tale. I think it's fun.
Yeah, I'm making a big sandcastle.
This may be the first free movie night of the season, but there will be 10 more of these movies all over the neighborhood all summer long. The last one will happen here again, and that'll be Aquaman. I think I'm going to come see that one. I get to create an environment here where families can come together and create great memories.
And of course, it doesn't hurt to make a pitch with your youngest constituents to get more kids hooked on the summertime fun.
Okay, are you going to tell all your friends about movie nights in CD7? Yay!
Yes, it's good to put the word out on the street. The Shark Tale movie finally makes it onto the big screen, accompanied by free popcorn and, wait, is that s'mores in the making? Yes, a poolside bonfire with s'mores for everyone. Now that's the way to watch a movie.
This was just the kickoff. Future movies in the pool include Karate Kid, Black Panther, and Grease. Definitely my faves. To see the full list, check out monicarodriguez.org/movie nights. We check out the food trucks at Weston Wednesdays, get a taste of the islands with Caribbean Heritage Day, and Councilmember Koretz gives some traffic advice in Bel Air. All this in City Beat.
Some of LA's most delectable food trucks were gathered at Grand Park for Wesson Wednesdays, Juneteenth edition, presented by Council President Herb Wesson.
And only thing you guys got to do is just come out, support us, one by one day at a time as we get better every day.
Councilmember Paul Koretz, the LA DWP, and LAFD held a press conference to alert the public of a year-long project on Sunset Boulevard in the greater Bel Air area. The project will be a power upgrade to the existing DWP infrastructure that had been installed in the 1930s.
We've had great coordination among all the departments. Now we just ask for the public to pitch in and do what they can to avoid the area in the next year.
The third annual Caribbean Heritage Recognition Day celebration at LA City Hall brought live music, authentic cuisine, and fun for everyone.
We have performers, we have food, we have dancers. It's a way for Los Angeles to wrap our arms around our Caribbean immigrants and Caribbean members of our city.
I love this last story. It's called Angel City Games, and it's the premier adaptive sports festival on the West Coast. Check out these athletes from 3 to 72 years old that don't let anything get in their way from playing their favorite sports.
So today is day 2 of the 5th annual Angel City Games, which is now presented by the Hartford. And we're offering, over the course of these 4 days, 7 Paralympic sports, both clinics to learn and competitions. So it's important that events like Angel City Games happen because if you are living with a physical disability, whether you were born different or you acquire that disability through injury or illness, you have shockingly little opportunities to participate in sport.
For able-bodied people, sports is not something that's difficult to find. They can go up to a basketball gym and play basketball, they can go to the track and compete, but for the physically disabled community and the adaptive community, it's really difficult to find sports. People are scattered around, most of them don't even know that it exists, and many of them are confused and think the Paralympics is a Special Olympics, which it's not.
My eldest son, Ezra, was born with some physical differences. I was flying him all over the country to make sure he had access to sports, and we wanted to make sure those that didn't have the same ability to travel for sports, that we could bring it to them in Southern California.
It's important to support events like these because, again, it creates an environment which is inclusive of people with disabilities. You know, oftentimes we find a lot of recreations and activities happening that are not for people with disabilities, and this opportunity creates equity amongst the city programs, services that we're offering.
It's important that the city, and particularly recreation and parks, is we need to support kids of all abilities, and we want to grow our adaptive sports and fitness programs around the city. We want to reach kids who may not have the opportunity to come to a fantastic event like this, who may be in an area of the city that may not be aware of it. So we're also looking at helping bring more awareness to this event and bring more support to this event.
So that's our passion. What we're focused on is making sure everybody has the same opportunity to participate in sport and live a healthy, active